fever. Pitch excitement level is no doubt building as we prepare for this clash.
Oh, yeah, it is picking up. The Kangaroos are out on the field now. They're having shots at the Brisbane cheer squad, kicking balls into them, and they're enjoying that. We've got Janine here, Kangaroo supporter, a little disappointed after last week.
Yeah, certainly were, but we tried in the second half.
Well, actually, and after quarter time, you were only outscored by 2 points.
That's exactly right. Pity we couldn't have done something in the first quarter.
Right, and so Leanne's actually looking down at the field now because Brisbane have just come out, and you've actually been avoiding the football for a while.
Yeah, for about 4 years.
So you went to the last
game,
yeah.
We are the pride of Brisbane town, we wear maroon, blue and gold. We will always fight for victory, like Fitzroy and Bears of old. All for one and one for all. We will answer to the call. Go Lions, Brisbane Lions, we'll kick the winning score. You'll hear our mighty roar. We are the pride of Brisbane town, we wear maroon, blue and gold. We will always fight for victory, like Fitzroy and Bears of old. All for one and one for all. We will answer to the call. Go Lions, Brisbane Lions, we'll kick the winning score. You'll hear our mighty roar. You'll hear our mighty roar.
Well, there they are, Leanne, the Lions, and you haven't seen them for a couple of years. You've been avoiding the football ever since Fitzroy went away?
Yeah, I have. It's the first game I've been, yeah.
It's your first game back, is it, tonight?
First game back, that's right.
So in 4 years, haven't you missed, like, the beer and the pie at half-time?
Yeah, I guess so, but life goes on and they took my team away and that's it.
Well, but now you can adopt Brisbane because they've got the Lions there, and when the song started playing, you said, well, this brings back memories.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel the same, sorry.
I don't think it ever will.
No, that's right.
Leanne, thanks so much for your time tonight. I know you did this under duress, but thank you so much. And Janine, I wish you both the best night. I hope you have a great night coming back to the footy for the first time. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you, James, and hope the girls do enjoy their night here at Colonial. Okay, won't be long. We'll have the toss of the coin and play underway. In the opening quarter, the Kangaroos and the Lions.
once in a 100-year move, but let's see if they can do something tonight. And it's the Kangaroos out of the centre. Gianelli Carey goal would set this crowd alight. Johnson got caught a bit high. Abraham got a quick kick away. He'll want a good start here tonight. All hard there. Lawrence and Clayton both at it. The little give was reasonably effective. It got out to King. It gets back to Bell, to full forward, and White coming in and punching it away.
I think one thing we can expect tonight with Lepage doing the job on Carey, I would expect Darryl White, where possible, to leave his man and come flying over the top to try and bring the ball to the ground. And a great covering lunge there as the ball was pretty close to the goal line with Carey bearing down on it.
So that's what's in front of Lepage. Both teams have...
wants to come short. Absolutely. This side of the ground, there was only one play. He's just in the top of the screen there now. He was the only player outside 50, so they're going to go short from the kick-ins as much as possible. Try and break it up. They're going across the face now.
Chris Scott gets it from Lepage. You got it from Lawrence. So flirting a bit with it here. Huskis back. They're okay now. It's centre wing. Good contest. Harvey, well played. The kick to half forward. Front spot. Shoal, just a little one. King going forward. And then the other one, that's Carey. You can see the uncertainty with that patch there, and Carey picks himself up for a boundary throw in at left half forward. It's been the Kangaroos who have stopped Brisbane in the 2 preliminary finals that they've made in their history, and it's been the 2 seasons that the Kangaroos have gone on to win premierships under Denis Pagan, so there's a lot of history between these 2 teams. It's tough to hold your feet there. You can see a lot of sand's been laid down. Ackermanis has been going forward in recent weeks, lapping them best on the ground last week, and goes in short to Hart, whose little handball was put power under the pump, but he took a chance there, and he came away from that sandy basin, kicks to centre half forward. Bradshaw behind made a pretty good contest of it. Lang squeezes one out. McKernan attacks hard. He got the first kick of the match. Back to Harvey. Harvey goes to centre half forward. Well, White had to take the mark there. Got in front, and then Carey decides to take Lepage on, and Lepage has taken the first points there. And then Lappin comes away and kicks to half forward and finds power. He's been very good in the goal-kicking department. Well, Ashcroft might get a second crack. Bell went without it in the end, and Ashcroft neatly and caresses it through for a goal.
Got to say, the signs don't look all that good for the Kangaroos.
They don't.
Even though the longer you possess the ball as an opposition to the Roos, gives them more chance to dispossess you. They're very good at tackling and dragging down opposition. But the ease they brought it forward, that's pretty staggering.
Bad error by Peter Bell.
Yep.
I mean, it was a poor kick from Power coming in to Ashcroft. He had the run, he had the jump. All he had to do was smash it forward. He let the ball get behind him. Lost track of the contest. Ashcroft recovered, picked it up and kicked a simple goal.
6 points to 1. Well, there's not much experience in the ruck tonight for the Lions, and McKernan to challenge McDonald in the early part of this game. Shannon Grant a bit up and under on his non-preferred side. Harvey with pace and didn't fall over, which was important. And then White under the pump a bit here. Now Huskis is outnumbered. The ball comes free. Carey attacks it hard. Tries to break a tackle. Can't. Back to Simpson. Simpson unloaded as he kicks to within about 20 metres. Good fly by Chris Scott. Hart decides to concede. He had White there, but pushed it over the line.
See Lepage charged the ball there. Carey saw that he wasn't going to make the contest, took the risk and sat out the back. Eventually the possession found its way to him. But if Lepage misses that ball when he comes forward and takes it on himself, Wayne Carey will have a very, very staggering effect on him.
Well, there's a good look at the zone that the Kangaroos are setting up, and if you can keep forcing the Lions to kick short from the kick-out, they'll have done their job pretty well tonight.
Bolton in the back pocket.
It's unfolded up the middle of the ground, but he's going to keep it straight down the lines, playing it safe early.
Well, the Kangaroos had all the numbers there, but Carey in the end, there was no mark taken. And then he sort of wobbles one to within about 30 metres of goal. It's in the hot spot. King pushes for them. Blakey ricochets off him to Shoal, to Abraham. And Abraham, with so much skill, delivers with a great goal. He'll love that when he will.
Well, I think that's one of the most important things to happen for the Kangaroos tonight is Winston Abraham. After the drama of the last couple of weeks, he hardly got a touch in the VFL last week, but he's back in the ones, and to have an early touch and to finish with such clinical precision. Have a look at this. He knew he had a bit of time. He just found a bit of space onto the left foot, and you can't ask for much more than that. Threads it through, and the quick answer for the Kangaroos. Well done to Winston Abraham.
There's Cupido, 3 away from us, who's created such an impression. Malloy and McRae. So 1-2 to a goal. Kangaroos haven't taken a mark yet. It's pretty early days, admittedly. Simpson's kick. They have now down low. King playing at half forward. Kick 5 against Richmond in a big round 3 match this year. Finds Harvey, and Harvey wanted to go. In fact, has been called to go and did very well in short to Grant.
It wasn't a bad option. I mean, he got himself in trouble, but Shannon Grant led to space, and he knew it was only going to be a 10-metre kick. But it puts him marginally inside the 50, and he's a real chance of making the distance from there. Just didn't panic, yeah.
He's been a good goal kicker. He's been a good player at the Kangaroos. He's in a flat spot. He's been a good goal kicker. That's a floating kick that won't quite get there. And at the back, Burl, it's across the face, and I think out on the fall in the end. Bolton to bring it in.
Craig McCraig about to come on for the Lions, taking Brett Voss's spot.
And Voss came in, didn't he, Dipper, for Simon Black. Well, Johnson was taken by Abraham. It's like a beach out there tonight, isn't it? It is not good.
Well, it's been so slippery and muddy in recent weeks. They've obviously decided to put some sand down to dry it up and perhaps firm it up, but they're just floundering at the moment. And there's big explosions of sand as they leave big footprints in the turf.
They're wading, aren't they? It's really difficult to make any impression out there at all. Ball to be won, Lawrence in there, and it'll be a ball up.
Yeah, Lee Matthews spent a bit of time in that pocket before the game, and I'm sure he's told his players to wear screw-ins because it's very slippy in that area.
Interchange for the Kangaroos. Chandler playing his first game for about 18 months at this level. Burton, Makepeace, and Motlop. So the Kangaroos in attack. McKernan just got it over the top, and it's pretty hard to get it out at the moment. Martin Pike. A few ex-Fitzroys out there tonight.
Eustace and Pikey just pushing straight ahead, and Eustace breaks away now. He'll skirt the defensive side of the pack.
McKernan, White, Pike again putting the strong tackle on, so it's a real scrum, isn't it, at the moment, with every metre taking a while to be gained. There's the Colonial form, so the Kangaroos are 100%, but Brisbane would think as if they've played well here because they had their chances in their defeat against Melbourne when they kicked poorly. And their other wins were very good, particularly that one against the Bulldogs. And the ball out of play. That was in round 2 when the Bulldogs had come from Adelaide with a win.
And as an interstate side, you wouldn't mind travelling to Colonial. Because it's such a novelty for all teams at the moment, you just don't have that same home ground advantage.
I think that roof on the top helps a bit too, because you know the conditions are going to be in a certain way. Hart's handball to Lawrence. Up and under kick to centre half. Now Champion got caught underneath, and I think the free kick given to McCartney. It was a hard one for Champion to make a contest and not give a free away.
Yeah, but every time you do that, you've got at the last moment, you've got to turn around and pretend you're watching the ball. Clayton
in the corridor. Played a bit of footy, not too much with the Lions. Hasn't missed a game in a season and a half for the Kangaroos. Kicks the ball to about 70 metres. Carey. Leppich was terrific then, in late, and then fisted it away to Huskers, who kicks it around his body very wide. McCartney and also Champion. It is impossible out there, isn't it? Champion punching back to Cowthorpe. Won't he want a big game tonight after his poor experience in Brisbane last year? But basically the whole team fired, and except for him. King, wide. Here's a race. Power and Pickett. Pickett was clever. Powers kept his feet. That's the important thing. Terrific little contest there. And then Pickett goes to ground in the end. Power keeps low. Finds Johnson. Didn't give the first handball off. Takes them on and gets clear. Kicks a bit too wide in the end to Bradshaw. And it's out of play.
Almost like he got a bit fatigued then just on the kick, but he could have probably used the handball first up.
Well, there they have. They've had the edge over the Lions. In fact, the Lions have struggled here against the Kangaroos after they won their very first game as the Brisbane Bears in 1987. They've only won 1 out of a dozen since in Melbourne. Scott underneath takes the mark. wanted to go, has to now. Lepic started pretty positively to half forward. First time we've called Voss. Simpson with him. Lappin's toe poke went nowhere. Grant getting a bit of it, and he's found Carey. Lepic takes chances. Can Carey make him pay? He just measures the kick. Scholl a bit underneath, probably had too much on it. And then Harvey was lucky, I reckon. He dropped that footy.
See, I'd have been inclined to let that one go the way it happened, but as it panned out, if you're in front, I guess you get the benefit of the doubt a lot of the time.
50 metres out, goes to centre half forward.
Oh, great punch from Wyatt.
It's worth a kick almost. And then McCartney goes back, and then McKernan couldn't really get any balance on the kick and kicks towards the pocket. Pike going forward, just like King, and a boundary throw in Huskus and Pike together. 8-6 it is, just a 2-point margin.
Dermy mentioned earlier Lepic. I mean, out on the wing here, he ran off Carey, delivered the ball. Now, when it didn't hit Voss, he kept going. Yep. And you know, if you don't get it, your player's going to be sitting in space.
McKernan winning a fair few of them. McRae round the body. Clayton, and the ball runs away from him in the end.
Harvey is being opposed by McRae on the wing. They identified that Brett Voss wasn't the man for him. Starting on the wing at the bounce downs, but as soon as it's bounced, once the ball goes into the Kangaroos forward line first time, Harvey almost takes up residency as a permanent forward thereafter. Whistle on the play here.
He's had 5 posies too, Harvey.
That's against Calthorpe for hanging on to Ackermanis, I think.
Yeah, he's been damaging already, Harvey, hasn't he? So they've identified him as being quite a thorn in the side.
Chris Scott's kick, champion. McCartney had the drop on him, and now they're away, so there's danger in this with Wayne Carey. Pagan's paddock almost set up. Carey went too short. White got a touch on it, and then Scholl and Carey, who have combined so brilliantly over the years, getting one another's way a little bit. The kick up and under a bit from Spall, and the mark taken back there by Chris Scott, who started positively.
That is a good change.
Big switch, wasn't it, to Lawrence?
Pike being taken off.
To Hart now to run. He's had some big jobs again this year. Hart gets some distance. Voss and Simpson both hanging on a bit in the end. Voss trying to win it. Simpson holding it up. McRae's handball was very effective. And then Ashcroft a bit up and under. Bradshaw pushed out by Lang. Tries a little kick. Lynch can't quite. Mickey Martin's in there. Bradshaw puts a tackle on him. It'll be a ball up 25 metres from goal.
Got a feeling Voss might have got just a little bit of a whack on the head out of that one.
Tell you what was funny watching that, Mick Martin got caught with the ball, and in the end it spilled down onto Voss, who was still on the ground, so he just lay on top of Michael Voss and put his hand up to try and get a free kick for holding the ball against Vossi.
Well done, Mick.
McDonald, power out of mid-air.
It was worth a try in that situation. I mean, he couldn't take possession because he was basically being attended to by his opponent, but it was worth kicking it out of the air.
Outside the defensive 50, some big flies from McDonald, champion, good tackle McCartney, and then McKernan, who looks to have started positively, but White was terrific. McRae's hands good to Hart, brings it back, but Mickey's in the front spot. Lynch played him very well, and then Ackermanis got a very quick kick away. Bradshaw's half it. Oh, what a mark! Bradshaw half a chance. Pickett took a beauty.
What about that? He's taken the mark and laid a shirt front.
See Clayton all on his own up on the wing.
Grant. Lappin gets back, can't take the mark or even spoil, and now Clayton comes away and kicks long in the Carey direction. Front spot was Huskus, and then Lawrence back to Huskus, and then goes in short, and Lappin fell over. Carey was bearing down on him, gets it back to Blakey, switches it to Clayton, and then Clayton goes short to McKernan, doesn't take the mark. They'll be disappointed with that. They had a chance, and then Lepic takes them on and kicks it wide, and now the Lions are away. Is Ashcroft, can he get out of the beach there? He does with a little handball to McRae, who stops and props, and then kicks to Bradshaw at centre half forward. Didn't take it though. Gets it back to Champion. Champion's finishing skills are not the best in the league. Goes back to Power, who can kick a goal. He's 50 out. Little will give. Ackermanis had to be clever, and then he had to stop and prop and give it everything, but it won't make it. And McCartney's away. Kangaroos playing short tonight, aren't they, when they go forward? And then Harvey kicks to half forward and sported well and got rid of his man in White, and then goes in the Carey direction. Lepic terrific again. Out wide, McKernan, high and hard and hoping really. And Abraham comes in from the side. Chris Scott read it well. Scholl got a hand on it. Free kick to the Lions. It's a good game.
Lepic, actually, you can see he just bites off just a fraction more than he can chew each time, but he's doing incredibly well. But you just know that as a forward against him, you've got a chance, because he will chance his arm.
Johnson got around Abraham.
Doesn't chase Winston.
It's very hard to change direction in this area, isn't it? McRae has been good since he's come on. Forced out.
Yeah, you want to be on railway tracks when you're out on that outer wing there.
As soon as it hits that turf, the most important thing about the whole contest, above all, is just keeping your feet.
Yep.
If you go too hard, you're going to lose touch with your balance. I mean, whoever keeps their feet will win the contest out there.
McCartney and champion. Pickett. There's a hard kick in the end, probably not a good option. And Hart's got a real chance to goal, and Short, I think he's missed.
Should have done better. He got a very good shepherd from Michael Voss, who just gave him a bit of time and space to line that up on his favoured left foot. You'd expect him to kick that more often than not.
Mickey McLean we saw a moment ago, magic with Lee Matthews and the Brisbane coaching staff. So the first kick in for the, there's Denis Pagan, the first kick in for the Kangaroos tonight.
Well, they're all outside 50 and he's going to take the one bloke that comes short. Well, the whole wave will come over to this wing now. Spall meets it. That's good forward play, even if he doesn't grab it. Except when your opponent grabs it over you.
He's looked sharp wide early, hasn't he?
Yeah. Did everything right, the kid, though. He pushed up to the next kick. Good spot up that one.
Good strength from Voss there to hold his ground against a competitive Simpson. And then Voss, off balance, kicks to the pocket and kicks effectively to Lynch.
Now this end here is very difficult to kick from. Most of the kicks at goal at Colonial, this end, drift left to right. And Lynchy has worked it in the past, over the last few weeks, and has kicked goals from here. But it's the toughest pocket in the ground to kick at.
48 metres out, it's a good kick. That is a great looking kick. It's gone through for a goal.
I've got to say, that one didn't drift too much either way. That was
A little bit left to right.
almost gun barrel straight. He's threaded the needle. That is great for his confidence, because Alistair Lynch is the sort of player that can kick a bag if he kicks the first couple of goals and gets his confidence up. He has known to be erratic at times, but a good stretch, a good lead. Nicky wasn't close enough to make contact with him, and that's how to finish.
Does concede it wide though, Mick. Gives you a chance out wide.
It's going to be a key duel, isn't it?
Yep.
Lynch and Martin tonight.
Well, his form suggests, Lynchy, that he's a 5-6 goal full forward every week he steps out there now.
Well, he's had a terrific season, and you consider that he's missed a couple, and he's in the top 3 or 4 in the goal kickers. Champion back to Ashcroft, to Lappin, to Power, and then Power gets it to Bradshaw. Good flight, good mark. They look a little more dangerous, don't they, the Lions, than the Kangaroos early?
And that's what Daniel Bradshaw has to do against Lang. Lang's bigger and stronger, but Bradshaw has great mobility, good pace on the lead, and he has a tremendous leap.
He's a bigger kid than you suggest, I reckon.
So that's a good kick too. That's left to right, and he's kicked another one. Well, he is a good shot for goal. He's been very accurate. They're two of the best I mean, you tell us, Jason, you know better than anybody. They're great shots, aren't they?
Look, that's fantastic finishing. You can't ask for much better than that. I mean, look, I know Daniel Bradshaw is solid, but Adam Lang is a man mountain. I mean, he is just made of bricks and mortar. And this bloke just plays like a traditional full forward. He has a great lead, a good leap, and a good kick. And if you can have if you can have Bradshaw and Lynch working in tandem, it's going to be pretty hard to match up on.
He's a pretty relaxed kick when he normally kicks at goal too, but that time he gave it some urgency for the distance, didn't he? Good to see.
Well, a couple of goals in a couple of minutes from key forwards have really given the Lions a boost here, and then McDonald out of the centre. McCartney should mark, he does.
Been beaten a few times there, champs. Just give him a bit more of a chance to see if he can just make the contest at least.
Can't criticise the bloke for getting marked over the top of that.
No,
He's playing in front.
Yeah, you still got to try and read him.
Shannon Grant at half-back. Kicks to McKernan. At the back, McDonald. Lawrence goes short to Ashcroft. There's a couple on now. Bradshaw's on his... Well, he's just too deep in the end. He's going to take off now, Bradshaw. And it's a good kick. He should have taken the mark. It was Lynch, actually, and he should have taken the mark. And now Bradshaw gets a chance and goes with a long one and just misses for a behind.
It was a good kick from Ashcroft. I mean, Alistair Lynch wasn't on a hard lead, but he chipped it into space because he knew Lynch was in front. They both accelerated at the same time. And he still got there, should have taken the mark.
Mickey Martin, the target. Just peeling off here at half-back. And then he'll come along down the line. Good kick to McKernan, who started with some urgency here tonight. He'll know that.
Good lead for Pike.
Yep, got him. Pike playing on Eustace at half-forward, half-back.
Well, Adam will normally zone off, just play goal side of you or corridor side.
Spall got to the front with Carey sort of holding a couple out. Harvey's handball to Clayton, to Grant, did well. Found Carey.
If there's a distinct advantage that Carey has over Leppich, and in the one-on-one contest to date, Leppich has been very good. He's a great athlete, he's strong, he has a long reach, he can jump, but he just gets caught watching the contest.
Well, he's going for a milestone here, isn't he? In fact, if he kicks this, he'll be the 20th player in history to kick 600 goals. So the degree of difficulty is like playing 300 games and a bit more. Let's see if he can kick his 600th goal tonight. It looks good. He's done it.
Well done, Doug.
What have we had, 11,000 footballers, so 20 of them have kicked 600 and the Duck joins them, the king.
Particularly for a bloke that doesn't play as a permanent full forward. I mean, we know he's played full forward before, he's played a lot of centre-half forward, he's also spent some time down back, so fantastic effort. But we were just talking before about Leppich. He's great one-on-one, but he does get caught spectating. It's the second efforts where Carey will find space, and in that occasion, he was 10 yards clear.
Burt in the ruck now, and Corey now playing in the forward line next to Wayne Carey.
Haven't looked dangerous up forward, except for that Carey mark there.
So the big spider out there against McDonald, Cowthorpe, Hamble. Grant's been good. He's had a very profitable opening term, and he goes long, and Carey's got it.
Super mark.
You'd want a return, I reckon, of about, well, you'd let him slip on one quarter, but 2 goals a quarter. You'd want to be kicking about 7 or 8 for the game and have another 6 or 7 blokes chime in. You'd want 14, 15 to get across the line, I reckon, the Roos tonight.
So you reckon he's going to have a huge night, Dermot?
He's going to have a big one. If he plays up there, he's capable of it.
He's got 2. So all square late in the first quarter.
Well, he just beat him cold there. I mean, he was third man to the contest. I was actually watching the 2 in front, looking to see who was going to fly, and he just came over the top and stole it. He had Leppich right behind him, but you can just see him. He sprints there, just a longer reach. So he has had it a bit. 7 kicks, Shannon Grant, already, and a couple of key ones out of the middle.
Four to 2, the centre breaks in favour of the Kangaroos. And Shannon Grant with those 7 kicks has had a terrific start here. Burton down to Grant, and then Simpson back to Clayton. Well done, McRae, really well done, and then actually got the kick away to half forward. Lappin and Blakey ran hard, they all missed it. Then Lang's handball was wayward. Lappin hasn't got far to go. Pickett just got rid of him, and then Blakey belted it off the ground and out of play.
Well, it's just about going at the moment. Most of the goals, nearly all of those goals we've seen so far, 6, are on with the centre breaks. So basically, whoever forces it forward the first time goes goal.
Kangaroos have struggled this year in their opening terms. They've really had a battle to be in front at quarter time in their matches so far. Bill, a bit like Blakey then, no nonsense, building towards the line and out of play.
Had a bit of it, Carey, already, hasn't he? 8 possessions, 3 marks. Leppich, his opponents, had 3 possessions.
McDonald and Burton. McDonald did well, he got to the front. Grant again. Harvey just might have been out in the end. The umpire was pretty well positioned. Touch and go. So boundary throw in. Still plenty of time in this opening term. McDonald and Lappin tried to read it best. Harvey back to Bell, back to Grant, Grant to Blakey, well played, and then Blakey away. Doesn't time the kick, but McKernan was in the front spot, got a terrible bounce. Oh, Scott and Carey ran into each other. Free kick to Chris Scott.
And 50 metres for David King, kicked the ball off the deck after it was loose and the free kick had been paid. But the original free kick, I don't know if it was there. They both seemed to have hip and shoulder at each other, didn't they?
That's a legitimate bump on somebody, front on, tucked in. He's just run into him. I mean, that's half Chris Scott's fault.
And I reckon he's hit him on the hip and shoulder.
Yeah, the umpires just said, yeah, no problem. You bumped him, but you got him in the head. That's all that free kick's for. That's the changing face of footy.
It's a good 50 too.
pretty tough, Chris Scott too. It might have been legitimate, sure.
Yep.
But it was a pretty hard bump right in the gob, and he's picked himself up pretty well.
This is what he's looking at, and he's wondering if a lead is going to come, and then he's got to make up his mind, will he get the journey? If it doesn't, not a
big
bad
goal.
hit.
That's a big goal. That is a very big play. Well, how fortunate was it?
And you can see Carey pleading with the umpire there. He's going, what on earth was wrong with that? Surely I'm allowed to attack. I mean, the ball was in between the two of us. If I can't bump him, what can I do? The ball is right there.
Can you bump him in the head, though? I don't know.
That's the rule. You're not allowed to make contact.
I still think he hit him in the shoulder. Oh, no, maybe a bit high. I guess he's about a foot taller than him, isn't he?
4-2 to 3-2. So centre breaks, as Dermot said, vital here in terms of who's been getting the goals. King, Voss, Ashcroft, bit up and under. Pickett just has to search for it and then accelerates onto it. Oh, he's got wonderful balance, hasn't he? And then switches it to McCartney. At the better of the duel with champion so far. Short to Pike. Back half of the centre square. Goes with a long one to Carey. He's had big first quarter. He's been held on to. He's going to get a free kick.
Well, I watched that before the ball was even on the boot.
It was always on. It was always on. But I reckon he's done this because he's so worried about Carey now. Carey's on top. As you said, he's had 8 possessions already, 3 marks. He's kicked a couple of goals. All of a sudden he said, well, I'm giving him no chance here. He's just got him in a bear hug.
He's done well in the strength then. He's actually turned Carey around, even if he has infringed. A lot of the time you infringe without turning him, moving him.
Just outside 50. It's long enough, but wide for behind.
In actual fact, I actually watched that for about 10 seconds before the ball came down. Wayne initiated the contact. He's not right. Make no mistake, he is not running well, Carey. There's something bothering him in his legs. They go short up the middle here, but he is not moving freely, and I don't reckon he has at any stage.
Now that's a tough 50. Corey McKernan wasn't in the original contest when he took the mark, so he's not allowed to then become involved in holding the bloke as he goes off the mark. But Marcus Ashcroft actually went sideways a step because he was going to link up and handball back to Chris Johnson, who originally kicked the ball to him.
White gets it short to half forward. Mark taken by Lawrence. The boys talked about that on Talking Footy a couple of weeks ago with the Gardner-Camporeale situation. But the umpires have been really quick on that, and we saw it there. And then Lawrence goes in short, just cut off by Clayton. Was very good play. Spalled back to Clayton. An effective handball to Harvey. He's just got to come back with it now. And he's found some space to get around Ackerman. Has played it beautifully, Harvey, and got it to Blakey, admittedly in short. Well, they want 52.
I tell you what, that's 2 marks now that Alistair Lynch should have absolutely gobbled up forward.
He almost expected the contact, didn't he? Well, this has worked for them that the umpire's holding it up here, because had he turned around and kicked up there were 4 Brisbane Lions players just saying, kick it to me, and I'll kick it back over your head.
The umpires warned Blakey for staging for 50 then.
Yeah, no need.
Gets to about 50, Burton front spot, White was at the back, Carey was in there, Chris Johnson belts it away, Power outnumbered, Grant pushes forward, Hart had to get a quick kick away, Ackermanis has got 3 against him and a bounce in the end as well, and Blakey comes away to Pike out wide. Now Pike's got a little bit of time to think about it, and then goes to the pocket, front spot, which Spall, White, now he's got Lappin short, Champion's really wide. He probably doesn't want to go there. He comes back inside to White. He's got plenty of time. Terrible kick, and then McDonald gets in the road. Good back turn from Lawrence, and then comes wide. Now they're on here a bit. Huskus, he's got Hart short. He's got him now, just outside the range. The 2 big leading, strong full forwards. Bradshaw's the go. Got him, I think.
Well, I think both of the key forwards, Lynch and Bradshaw, have a distinct pace advantage on the lead tonight. And if the 2 of them can just block for each other, cut across each other's leads and keep the spaces open, there's plenty of ball that they can feast on tonight.
This is harder than Lynch's. This is just seemingly a couple of metres difference, tightened on the angle. This is going to be a tough kick.
And now he's got to run straight too, doesn't he? He can't improve his angle.
No, he just bends out in the slightest fraction. It's all over.
Gee, what a bit of momentum if he kicks this for the Lions. Tucked away, they already lead by 5 points. It will take a remarkable kick It's not bad, but it's not going to be a score. So quarter time, it's a 5-point ball game. The Lions in front, but if it was a bout, it'd be all square just about, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you've got to say this at the moment. Whoever's winning the centre bounces is predominantly is kicking the goals. And the thing is, both teams are playing an extra man or two behind the line. So the only time you can counteract that is a quick takeaway from the centre before the opposition reacts and puts that man down there. So that's where you've got to win it.
Well, it's another big Friday night game on the Big Sports Network.
The big sports events keep coming on Australia's leading sports network. This is Channel 7, Australia's Olympic network.
That resulted in the goal in the end of Chris Scott. So quarter time, the Kangaroos are 3-3. and the Lions are 4-2. So just a 5-point gain for the Lions. So nothing in it at quarter time. Matty Armstrong's down there with the dipper.
Yeah, thanks very much, Bruce. What did you get out of that first quarter, buddy?
I thought both teams hit the ball pretty hard that first quarter. There's no doubt about that. And I think, look, it's just a big factor. If we can stop Carey, he's had 7 or 8 touches already in the quarter.
Yeah.
I think if we can just minimise his effect on the game at the start, we might have a chance.
Matty, I've seen a lot of players change their boots at quarter time and all come out with milder soles.
Yeah, a lot have. I think it might be hard. It's still hard underneath. It might look a bit damp on top of the ground, but it's pretty solid, pretty hard underneath at the moment.
Thanks for joining us, buddy. Good on you, mate.
Matthew
Yeah, about
Armstrong.
5 or 6 players did change their boots from milder soles to screw-ins in.
You're walking on a dipper. How's it feel?
Well, on this side, it's very hard, but as we mentioned, the other side, especially in that pocket, is very wet. So players in those areas must have the stops on.
Kipito snuck onto the ground, and the Kangaroos haven't matched him up. There he is. He jumped the fence in a second and hide from him, then come back on when they bounce it.
Shane Clayton's gone back to him, although David King, as we speak, is coming down back as well.
So McKernan starts forward in this term. Ackermanis runs right into Abraham, and there is McKernan. White stretched up, and then Carey's handball to Motlop, who'll run in and kick a goal.
Good pace. Good pace from the young fella.
I didn't realise he was that quick, Dean, because when Carey gave the handball off, he was virtually on the run with a couple of Brisbane defenders, but he just left them standing in his wake. Have a look at the acceleration here.
He was amongst them.
You can see Motlop outside them. There's Scott, and he's just gone away from them. A couple of strikes, and he's kicked this off the outstep. Look at the way he's dropped it. And just caressed it off to the left.
He's backed himself there, hasn't he?
He's nearly pushed it too far.
Carey again getting heavily involved.
Absolutely, a quick giveaway there, and Scholl coming off the ground for Motlop at quarter time.
Burton winning it again. Simpson and lapping in hard, and then Ackermanis, and then Burton belts forward. Good play. Back to Motlop. Back to Harvey. Then Huskus with a chance. Overran it, but Leppich has got it now.
Well done.
Kicks wide. McCartney's underneath. Good mark. It's a poor kick really coming out of defence.
Carey's not inclined to lead. I don't think he wants to just run himself out. He just stands back, push and shove.
White, but only down to Motlop, who's been really good. Now Clayton's released here. Could go on, decides not to. Scott got in a hurry. Now Carey wants it at the back. He wants it to the goal. He's given Carey every chance, and he's got it.
Well, as soon as he found out that he was matched up on Marcus Ashcroft, he just waved the arms and said, kick it here.
Yep.
If it's anywhere above shoulder height, I have to take the mark.
Justin Leppich was just too honest then. He saw a man break free, and instinctively he took him as a team player, and that left left Ashcroft exposed on Carey. Just too much of a team-orientated player, Leppich.
So 2 goals in the first 2.5 minutes for the Kangaroos.
Going with centre breaks again. 2 goals, 2 centre breaks.
It's kicked 3, Carey. 3 out of 5.
Now, Dim, I know it's the team-orientated thing to go and pick up the loose man, but when you're playing on Wayne Carey and he's had near on 10 possessions and kicked 3 goals, I'm pretty much thinking I'll stay at home, thanks, and let somebody else get in trouble.
He's instinctive though, Leppich, like that, isn't he? And you admire that in a bloke who will chance his arm. He's trying to tell the umpire that's in the back.
Jared Malloy comes on for Richard Champion as we speak, but Marcus Ashcroft was never going to have the body strength to match Wayne Carey.
No. And you could just see him, that twinkle in his eye, thinking, when do I get contact from the king?
I wonder if they'll change Daryl White shortly.
He's got McKernan at the moment. He's done a good job on Carey in the past. Voss got it from Ashcroft.
Good kick.
Bradshaw, it was a good kick. He should have marked it. Ran hard, did the hard work, and just didn't hold it. And out of play.
Well, that was that pace advantage again. I mean, it was a long lead, a 40-metre lead to the high left foot kick from Voss. And in the end, I think he had it spent or just took it too easy because he thought, I'm clear, I've got a chest mark.
33-26. Kangaroos with those couple of early goals in front. Ackermanis, marked by Power, but 55-60 out, just too far. Now Lynch, he's gone wide for Lawrence. Good mark in the end, running backwards.
I'll tell you who else was calling for the ball square there, about 55 out, was Michael Voss. We saw him kick that prodigious goal earlier in the year. I think he figures if I can just get someone to square it up 10 metres, I can kick it from 55.
Let's see if Lawrence can.
I don't think he can.
It's at the goal, so Lynch got rid of his man in Martin. And at the end, it's Burton.
He doesn't know where to go, Spider.
balked them all.
To David King, who started forward, and Voss has read it best, isn't he? Just picked it off pretty well.
Gee, they're blocking it up for Lynchy too. The Kangaroos' defence there is just nothing for him to lead into.
That's a good kick.
McDonald, you'd think, against Harvey, but he couldn't hold it. Now Lawrence again stops and props. Well done. Leppich 49 metres out, coming back.
Oh, he likes
He's
that.
kicked it.
He likes that one, Justin Leppich.
Well, the European Championship start tomorrow night, and right now it's 3-1. Carey leads. Well, that's where he is so...
Look, this is the key. If you're going to take the risk and run off and you do get the ball, you've got to punish Carey by making full use of the possessions. And there is no better way to do that than to kick the goal yourself. And have a look at his face. He's thinking, OK, I can take away a bit of effectiveness here and contribute myself. Pumped.
Good hand by Lawrence then, because Leppich was certainly screaming for the ball. He certainly hurt him.
It was a terrific switch by him, wasn't it?
I don't know if you're going to drag Carey up the ground doing that. He's not quite right in the legs. He's still the same dangerous player when he sits at home in the channel just out from goal.
Ackermanis has had his hands on it a few times in the centre square early in the second quarter. The belt away was effective. Calthorpe and Voss. Well played, Voss. Got to the premier position in the end. I reckon that some of these Lions would probably know David Calthorpe pretty well, wouldn't they? Be letting him know.
I think there'd be a bit of verbal jousting going on out there, Bruce, without a shadow of a doubt.
So he's had the Bombers and the Lions in the last 2 weeks, David Calthorpe.
Tough fortnight.
He's two ex-clubs. Premiership player. There's Simpson and Voss, and there is David Calthorpe. Well done, White. Backhander. Ackermanis getting busy, isn't he? To Lappin. On the burst here and on the left foot, and then kicks to fall forward. Burton did very well.
Well done, Spider. They're the marks he has to take. Look, he's not going to soar over a pack, but at least to make sure people think, I can't jump up that high. I can't jump up to 11 foot in the air to outmark this bloke. And if he sticks a few of them, great.
Oh. Well, Blakey made it. It was a floaty old kick. Blakey ran hard. Handballs to Pite, and then back to Blakey. He's on his wrong side. It's an awkward-looking kick, but Grant's going to mark it. Carey wants it really short. Motlop's running hard for him. Grant goes to the pocket. Motlop did well there. He went early, forced Scott almost to give a free kick away. Well, Leppich is so confident, but Cupido got it.
Gutsy kid, this boy. He's only young, but he will stay and take punishment for the team.
And can go too.
He does go all right, don't worry about that.
Came in for Black last week and debuted against Sydney and was really impressive and made a difference when he came on against the Swans in round 12. Here's Ashcroft.
Got McDonald short if he wants him, but at least McDonald has dragged Burton up the field, gives his forwards a chance then to take a mark.
So Ashcroft measures it in the end. Malloy's first real contest. Lappin couldn't go with it. Then Bradshaw tries to get a handball away. Bell's in there. 4 or 5 players around it. It'll be a ball up.
If Burton's going to continue playing a kick behind play and spoiling the high ball into the forward line, they either have to use McDonald when he goes short or make sure that McDonald does drag Burton up the field.
Young Chandler's on again, boys. It's a long time he's been playing.
Or he's gone straight to Ackermanis and let him know.
Ackermanis is finding a bit of the footy.
Yep.
Yeah, got to tighten up on him.
Plays Calthorpe.
Didn't play at all last year, Chandler, and was an emergency when the Crows beat the Kangaroos in the grand final of '98. So it's been about 18 months since he's played. McDonald, Hart and Lappin, and a boundary thrown. So we've seen this a few times tonight where the ball hasn't gone too far. Brett Voss closest to us, who came in for Simon Black. So Brisbane's only 4 from 13 in terms of outscoring the opposition in the second term. Not a healthy return. Blakey probably got a high one and gets a free kick. Sweeps it, and King's away. And then the kick to Clayton's a good one. Gee, that's a great kick. Clayton still running with it, and Carey wants it long. He's got a chance. He didn't time it as well, but Motlop will kick a second, I think. In the pocket. Well done, Chris Johnson with the free kick. For a push. Motlop doesn't know yet, but he's about to find out.
That shows you how much of a push in the back. I think he pushed him pretty much in the side, surely. Oh, that's in the side. That is the softest in the back free kick I've ever seen.
Well, if it's not, it's in the top 3.
You guys got to count down, are you?
That's atrocious, isn't it?
We'll have to, on the game extend the softest in the back.
And he does kick his second.
Yeah. Who gave that? Is that Hayden Kennedy? He's a reasonable umpire. I'm surprised he making a mistake like that.
6-3 to 5-2. Carey just... It was a terrific kick by...
he just misjudged it, Carey, as it was coming in, because Leppich slipped. You can see him, he loses touch, he slips. Carey just basically got too far underneath the ball.
He actually took his hands off him quickly too. It's a terrible decision, isn't it? Abraham coming off for the Kangaroos.
Makepeace to come on.
So a very soft free kick by the look of it in replay. Bell's kick, good mark, Pike front spot. 7-point margin. Are the Kangaroos making a move here? They're finding it easier to score goals. Carey and McKernan. Well done, Leppich. Front spot and belted it back.
See Wayne telling Corey off there.
I'm not quite sure what it was for, whether it was for coming down and getting in his space or not flying for the mark.
Yeah, I think he wanted him to protect his back and just keep his opponent away from him. He certainly let him know about it.
They banged into one another quite a few times this year. Certainly there was an exchange there. Leppich wide. Good mark by White. To Voss at half-back. Kick to half forward, Malloy.
That's a great kick and a great mark on the lead to Jared Malloy.
He worked hard for that, Malloy.
So started on the interchange first quarter. Lynch trying to get rid of Martin. That's not easy to do. Chandler gets back. He's got the job with Ackermanis. Then Swore switches to Grant, who just lost his footing a bit, but he actually kicked it very well to Harvey. But White now Pike's on and gets to Pike at half-back, almost up the centre wing. Little give now. Carey's got down deep. Little kick, in fact, too long in the end. Motlop's hands were good to make peace. There's nowhere to go with this, and Voss will mark it.
Both Carey and McKernan are down here on the back line.
I thought he might have been following Leppich, but he wasn't, Dipper, because Leppich has got the ball across half-back to Ashcroft.
Poor old Troy Makepeace looked up. There's nobody inside 50. Where does he kick it?
Tried to get a contest going, didn't he, by kicking a wide and not too far. Lappin short to Chris Scott.
Just breaking it up here, the Lions, aren't they?
Kangaroos have flooded it, haven't they?
Yep, there is. There's only 2 players in the Kangaroos forward side of the ground. That's just inside now, and they've got 3 by a metre.
Cupido on short if he wants him.
Got him. Can he run off David King? No. So there's basically no one behind Cupido.
There's a fair bit of space over the real congestion inside 50. If you can get it over to Lynch, who's just loitering behind Martin.
Cupido's kicked it right to the square. The big fly was from the Kangaroos. Power was terrific. Behind.
He robbed him then. He robbed it, Power, didn't he? He deserved a goal. He pickpocketed him then.
See, Cupido then was able to take King on and with some good shepherding and really stretched the defence, wasn't he?
He had a one out with Lynch and Martin, and he elected to go to the goal face.
Pike's kick to half-back. Bolton just overran it. Clayton to Bell, little soft gift, but didn't quite get there in the end. King again chopped off by Ashcroft. Ball ricochets out. Champion, well done by Motlop, who's been busy. 4 kicks and 2 goals. Now Lappin did well to Chris Johnson, who takes Bell on and then kicks in a one-out situation, and coming in from the side, Bradshaw takes a beauty. It was Mickey and Lynch, and then Bradshaw made it the 3rd man in the contest.
Well, that was just set up perfectly. Alistair Lynch was trying to push Mick Martin under the ball, and in the end the 2 of them were just pushing and shoving, so it meant that they were basically staying down on the ground, and Bradshaw just had the run and leap. He's got away from Lang a couple of times now, and he does have a great leap. He's very quick, and if he finishes, he could become a real thorn in their side tonight. Daniel Bradshaw
should goal. You can see the angle, we're right behind it, straight through, so he's got a couple. Had 4 shots for goal, Bradshaw, so 1 on the siren was a toughie, and then just missed a snap, but his 2 other set shots have been good, so he's been busy.
Yeah, now Dermot, you're talking about Wayne Carey not being quite right tonight. He found himself down back, and it's taken him nearly 10 minutes to get back up forward.
I definitely don't. He's such a champion. I mean, a 70% fit Wayne Carey is super dangerous, but he's dropped out of the possession rate in this second quarter a bit.
Tony Elshaw, Ross Smith, Denis Pagan, 6'4", 6'3", so there's a point in it.
Michael Voss had no effect on the game thus far.
Blakey back to Simpson on his non-preferred, but he gets it 35, 40 metres forward. White was at the back. Bell ran really hard, but he couldn't quite get to it. Johnson, it looked a bit high, but Motlop busy. Grant kept his eye on it, then forced to go back, and then measures beautifully to Bell. Great play, Shannon Grant.
Well, that kick's worth about 3 or 4 possessions if you want to work out the true estimation of the of those types of stats in a game of footy. I mean, that was going nowhere, that possession, but to hit that up on somebody's chest in real traffic, 12 possessions, 10 of them kicks, and one of them like that is just, that's golden.
Bell from the pocket. It's been a bit goal for goal in this quarter. Good kick, he's got it. Just maintaining a slight edge, aren't they, the Kangaroos?
They're just holding the status quo, you know, around a goal ahead each time. It's almost becoming a little bit of a catch-up football scenario for the Brisbane Lions.
Get to the stage, Dermot, that if the next goal's the Kangaroos, suddenly you get a little break, don't you?
The mini break. Yeah.
Three each, the centre breaks.
A great battle, Ashcroft and Grant. Grant's had 12 touches, set 1 or 2 up, and Ashcroft has had 11 and kicked a goal himself.
Burton, McDonald just went too early. Voss in hard make piece. Ackermanis tripped over in the end. Now 3 Lions went at it and powered little toe poke, and I think a free kick against Simpson maybe.
Yeah, a drag off. He just wasn't in true possession of the ball.
Now we mentioned it earlier, Wayne Carey's now being picked up by Darryl White, and Justin Lepich has gone back on to Corey McKernan.
Power leans back and then gets it well inside 50. Bradshaw running hard. Can he give it off? Lappin under the pressure, gets it back to Bolton. The smother was effective by Harvey. Lappin runs onto it. It then just ran too far, and Blakey was terrific. Clayton to Harvey at half-back. Kicks the ball down the line. McKernan running hard, needs a good bounce. He attacked it very hard. Scott with bravery comes across in front of him. Real courage. Then Shannon Grant trying to just get a hand on it. Makepeace held up by Scott. Gets back to Lane. Terrific tackle at the back from Chris Johnson. Power getting busy. A good distance. Bradshaw the flyer. Can't quite. Ball comes to ground. Gee, looked like Brent Harvey, but he kicks it to Brent Harvey, so it couldn't have been him. And then a little one to Makepeace. Looks up. Carey runs for Clayton. Clayton's got Bell wide. Carey wants it in the goal square. There's the kick. Can Carey get to the front?
That's a free kick to Lepich, surely.
Carey and Lepich. Still with Carey. Short to Grant.
He's been stiffed by the umpire. The one that went against him was definitely there at the other end. It should have been one apiece then.
He just grabbed him to get himself in front in the contest, didn't he? Virtually swung him in a half tackle.
He grabbed him to swing around him. Yeah.
He is getting slower tonight, isn't he?
Yep. He's feeling something.
That's after the event, that contest there.
But Grant had a shot for goal in the opening term, a bit further out than this, and he didn't time it, did he?
No.
He's just not confident about this kick, Shannon Grant.
And his kicks have been going for him left to right, so it's going to be very difficult. They flatten over, so it's going to be difficult for him to keep this online. Good effort.
It's going across.
It's a good effort.
It's a good kick, wasn't it? But he's only kicked 1 goal in the last 5 matches going into this this contest.
That's unusual for him, isn't it?
Well, for the season, he's kicked 16, but he's only kicked 1 in the last 5, so he's dried up a bit.
Have a look over the top there, and made space there, Lappin. That's a great spot up by Lepich too. Draws the free kick.
They've still got numbers out this side of the lines if he can get the ball quickly.
Makepeace, he's done well there too.
He has held it up well.
Yeah, well done, son. This is where they're dangerous, Brisbane. If they get a change of direction from this position, they just take it into their forward line.
The Kangaroos are just pushing this the Brisbane Lions wide tonight. They're forced to go wide every time.
It's got Lawrence straight up the wing.
So Ashcroft, can he get it to him? No, Simpson's cut it off.
Didn't have enough on the kick. Pretty disappointed, Steve Lawrence.
He's had some jobs this year, Simpson. Burton's his target. McDonald front spot. Makepeace read it really well. And the mark by Chris Scott. Gee, he went on in a hurry, and Voss needs the right bounce. Some good shepherding there coming in from Chris Johnson. Voss a bit up and under. Pickett belts away to centre wing, and Simpson's got some time now to deliver. McKernan wants it down the line, but he brings it back very cleverly to Bell. Carey and White are in the goal square. There's Carey, now goes. And Bell's going to kick it out in front of him. White will try and time it. Hughes has got a great mark, Carey. That's a really fine mark.
He wasn't entitled to mark that.
No.
He had Huskus coming in from the front. He had White coming over the top and somehow managed to hold on to it. I don't know how he did that. He didn't even lead very hard. He just jogged into space. He said, I'll back myself in the air, and he's marked out in the middle of the field. You're just not entitled to take those marks.
To try and explain
for the punch, didn't they?
Yeah, but to try and explain how good that mark is, I mean, he does that day in, day out. If a kid did that in the under-18 competition, you'd put him on the top of your draft choice in the coming year.
45 out, good kick. He's kicked 4 goals, Carey. If this is the first time you've been to the footy, you'd say, how can they win without this bloke?
I'll tell you what,
Never seen it before.
We're talking about, look at the way he leads here. That's just a jog. He's just jogging out into space, waiting for it to come. But every time I see him recover, I think one of the reasons he's slow to recover and get back into position, I don't think he's done as much training as he would normally do, and perhaps his cardiovascular fitness isn't what it would normally be. He's just trying to pace himself through the game.
Good kick. Well, Dermot, you said 8. He's got 4. He's got 2 in each of the quarters. This is the biggest margin so far tonight. Just 14 points, but the next goal becomes critical. If the Kangas can get it here, they'll pinch a little bit of a break. King got it from Simpson, who's been busy of late. Carries it centre half forward. The big fly from McKernan. Motlop read it brilliantly and then meshes it and goes and kicks it. He's got 3.
Boy, hasn't Shannon Motlop had an impact since he's come on. 3 goals already, and he's just an opportunist. And hasn't he inspired some responses from the crowd? One bloke was shaping up to him then.
He was shaping up to the world.
But have a look at this. The handball comes out. The long kick forward from King. And the big men are there. Carey and McKernan, they go for the ball. Motlop's on it. He just a little bit of a feint one way onto the trusty left foot and bang. That's a beauty, and he's pretty happy with this too.
The pack opened up for him, didn't it? They just separated for him and let him through the door.
Well, they've got to answer now. They've got to kick the next one, Lions.
It's been a bit of a bogey term for the Lions this year, but gee, the Kangaroos have played some good footy in the last few minutes. They've got it out to 20 points, and the centre breaks are with the Kangaroos. Makepeace to Blakey, who just bangs it forward. Lepich and Carey getting a fist on it. Then Carey trying to put the pressure on White, and White conceding a behind.
The thing about the Lions' defence, they're not panicking. They've been together for a fair few years now. Caputo moved to the back line on Motlop. Let's have a look. The weight of the numbers goes to the outer side. Ooh, there's a big target there.
Ackerman's worked his opponent under the ball, but Chandler's got it. Scrubby old kick, pushing the back to Clayton. He went forward on it, but it's been paid. So White's standing the mark way out there.
Carey's being picked up by Chris Scott at the moment, and that's not the sort of matchup they'd like.
Darryl White stuck on the mark. Can Clayton take advantage of it? Another goal here will be very damaging. He kicks to Carey. Power comes to the front. McKernan got one hand on it. Bell running hard. He's had a terrific second quarter. Back to Harvey. Back to King. Back to Grant. Run down by Hart. Gets a kick in. I think it'll be a behind. So all the scoring to the left of screen. 61 to 39.
Yeah, the supply for the Lions has just dried up at the moment. They're getting flogged in the middle, and the forwards just aren't seeing much of the ball. They've got to get it down there soon because they desperately need a goal before half-time.
What about Carey's stats? Number 1 in possessions on the ground, 14, 5 marks, 4 goals.
No, that's not a bad work, not a bad half day's work.
Now Ashcroft's short here. Lepich, now it's smothered up. Nothing gained there.
They've done this well, the Kangaroos. They've just...
Oh, boy, that was scary, wasn't it?
They give you a chance.
So Hart did get it. Right to Scott. Now that's a good kick to Voss. And can Voss turn Chandler inside out? Chandler's brought him down. He had to stop him because Voss was on there to turn him around, wasn't he?
Now Malloy, that big searching lead he had before, we see lapping on the end of this one. The long searching lead from Malloy, I reckon he just about ran his wind tank out on that. hasn't got much in the tank at all.
White pops it up for Malloy.
Good boy.
Took the mark 60, 70 metres from goal, and then goes to the pocket. Bradshaw's on the long lead. Kick didn't get to him. Bradshaw's handball back okay. Then Power's going to get it back from himself and take them on and grit his teeth and kick a really good goal.
That's a beauty from Luke Power.
That's a gold medal. That's an individual gold medal.
He tried the handball over the top and it got smothered. He ended up receiving the handball himself. You can see the kick coming in here. Just falls short of Bradshaw. He does well to gather it and get the handball. He tries to find Ackermanis, gets smothered, gets it himself. Then he just puts the hammer down and in he goes. And boy, did they need that, the Lions.
A bit of trust in the Lawrence bump there on the side too, because if Lawrence didn't lay that, he was going to be taken out there, Luke Power. Good understanding of his teammates and their capabilities.
11-6 the centre breaks in favour of the Kangaroos.
Yeah, they'd love to win one here, the Lions, just to get
got
one out of the middle cleanly.
Got to find the ball, Vossi's not getting it from the takeaways.
Burton, just probably too hard for Simpson a bit, but now Harvey again, so it's 12-6 as Harvey goes to centre half forward. Real congestion there, McKernan, Carey. Trying to get it out was Huskis and couldn't. And then came out from McKernan to Bell to Clayton to Simpson. He's on his wrong side. Harvey, good, well done. It wasn't pretty, the Simpson kick, but it was straight. And Scholl just letting Lepic know. But
now, Lepic and White are just alternating. Whoever plays closest to goal out of McKernan and Carey is the one that Lepic will pick up. And Darryl White picks the other one up.
Don't have to worry about that matchup now, Jace. Yeah.
Woodson Abraham comes back on, and Steve Lawrence has a spell for Brisbane as well.
Did that well there. He actually saw that he couldn't be used in the immediate vicinity of the pack and thought, well, I'll take a risk. If we win it, quick kick forward, I can be used in this last minute or so.
He was dirty, Justin Levitt. He wanted to do something to Brent Harvey when he came in. He was so frustrated that he was there.
Should goal here. Not much of an angle, not much in terms of distance, and he has. They've got the answers, haven't they?
They have now. I was a bit worried early days. With Carey, I thought was going to be their only avenue to goal, but Motlop has freed up that equation, and it's just introduced single goal kickers around the edges as well now. See, he's just backed out of the pack by about now.
Credit to the umpires too, because they really allowed that ball time to come free. They didn't just panic and blow it up straight away. It looked like it was moving around in there, so they let play go on.
And Shannon Motlop, Caputo down back, is just giving him a nudge around, and the kid's well able for it.
Another win out of the middle to the Kangaroos.
It's becoming monotonous, isn't it? Simpson's taken it out 3 times. And then Motlop with Cupido. Still Motlop. Couldn't get the handball away. Houston was just a bit close to actually take him on. And then the kick around the body from White. They're under the hammer here, the Lions. You can feel that the heat has been really turned up, and Carey's been the man who's been turning it up by running so hot, hasn't he?
Well, this is the one where he found himself in a mismatch, and he's taken it 14 possessions and 5 marks to just near on half-time. 4 goals.
Scholl's kick into space. Lions with a real chance here. Huskis, Abraham did well and comes back to King, and they're on here, the Kangaroos. That was a big play by Abraham. Clayton can go on. Oh. Decides not to.
Gee, he must have thought long and hard about going on there. But that's an incredible tackle by Winston Abraham, because it looked like the Lions were going to break out of the back line there. And maybe just Huskis, he either had to pick it up and stop, or make sure that he got a quick kick or handball out, but he tried to ride the tackle, and the tackle was just too good.
And every teammate has come up and said, well done.
Kick 7-4 to 3-1 so far this term, the Kangaroos. Make it 8-4. It's not unmanageable, but they wouldn't want one more, would they?
It's almost out of hand now for the Brisbane Lions. This game has had a pretty drastic facelift in the last 20 minutes. It's all one way for the Kangaroos, and too good, the tackle by Winston Abraham. The ball runs free, and David King just finds a very loose Kangaroos player in Shane Clayton, and whilst he could have gone on, he took his time, he went back. And when you do that, you make sure you kick the goal. Well done.
I still reckon the Brisbane Lions are a huge chance here. They're just getting beaten in one area solely. I mean, the forwards.
Pretty important area, in the middle.
In the middle, yeah. But, I mean, they just haven't had any effect in there. They've still got players they could try there.
Chris Scott's in there against Harvey at the moment. Burton's done a great job, hasn't he? hence McKernan going off. Hart's kick to centre half forward. Powers look dangerous. McRae onto it. Well done. Now Ashcroft's your goal. Measures it and gets his second.
That's still manageable.
What a difference a breakaway from the centre makes. 11-7 to 8-3.
Doesn't it? Well, it's been a pretty enthralling battle between Grant and Ashcroft all night. They're both getting plenty of it. Ashcroft has now kicked a couple of goals. He's had the 14 possessions and 6 marks. And Grant's had 14 possessions, 4 marks, and probably contributed to a couple of goals himself. So you'd have to call that pretty even at the moment.
Ashcroft can play pretty tight too. He hasn't tonight.
Or they haven't got near each other.
He's chanced himself.
Well, deep into the second term. Important blow, but again...
There's the other bloke.
Yep, Grant from Burton, and he's got Carey in his sights, and he's got him! Oh, that's wonderful footy. That's kangaroo footy under Denis Pagan at its very best.
And they've come from everywhere, the Kangaroos players, to give big Spider Burton a pat on the head for the palm down to Shannon Grant.
Vossi, they're going into Vossi to let him know that did the wrong thing. Should have tackled, went for the bump, had no effect. And I think Michael Voss has decided to remonstrate somewhat.
I think Shannon Grant's just taken the points over Marcus Ashcroft in this first half, don't you?
Marginally, but this will be 5 goals for Wayne Carey. That's not about half of football either. Lepich went about 24 yards over the mark then. Still didn't stop him kicking the goal.
And the duck lets him know about it.
Well, he is a remarkable...
Voss is coming off.
Yeah, you spoke about Michael Voss earlier, Dirt. He's only had the 8 possessions. And at the end of the night, if you said Michael Voss had 16 touches, you'd be pretty pleased with the job that's been done on him. A great tap there from Burton down to Grant. He just rides the bump and then kicks it long. And there's nothing better than giving the ball 1 out to Wayne Carey. He'll catch it 9 times out of 10.
I reckon Lee Matthews will get Voss on the phone, get him at half-time, and he's the kind of kid, kind of bloke who'll respond to a big request. He'll come good.
So back to 4.5 goals. Burl's been outstanding, and again a bump on Grant, who rode it really well, and then Harvey half-volleyed it brilliantly to Clayton. A big chance here. 48 out.
Got to kick it.
He's got it. It's another one. Tell you what, they've done some damage in the last half minute, haven't they?
Shane Clayton hasn't played a bad half of football either. He's had 15 possessions and kicked a couple of goals, and he is doing some damage. He is a genius at finding space. He really knows how to run ahead of the footy and read which way play is going to pan out. This time he puts himself in the position to receive the handball and just strokes it through from about 45 metres out.
Well, Huskis is always just going to play on to the spine of the ground, to the corridor side of the ground. He's not actually going to man up hard on his opponent there, Shane Clayton. So he's always going to start with a little space.
Michael Voss back on, and he's gone forward with his opponent, Sean Simpson.
4 goals in the last 5 minutes have been kicked, and the Kangaroos have had a massive second term. King marks a 10-goal second quarter to the Kangaroos. It's a huge second term against the Lions, and those 2 late goals have made that scoreboard look very lopsided, haven't they? So Carey's been the king. Clayton's kicked a couple. I thought Motlop did the damage early in the quarter, and at half-time the Kangaroos are cock-a-hoop, and why not? They lead 13-7 to 8-3. Carey's gone past a milestone tonight. Paul Salmon on Monday night will be on Talking Footy on the eve of his 300th game.
I was actually at Crown Casino. I can't believe you've got that footage. Where'd you get that from, Mike?
It's amazing sources, Blake. It's amazing what video sneaks out of the Crown Casino.
Yeah.
Talking Footy, 10:30 Monday night.
Hartford thinks so anyway. Can you recall what happens next?
The Bombers have gone up a notch. Luger's got it out. That was well done. The kick goes in towards full forward. And the mark has been taken. He'll play on and kick a goal. Just the block good. Finish it off, and he does.
Now here's a tip. The Hawks are not happy. And if you know what happened next, give us a call on 1902 555 650 and you could win these great prizes. Plus the big one, a trip to the UK for two for the AFL total $3,000 spending money and lots more. A $5,000.
Stats.
Carries it to the half forward. The big fly from McKernan. Mott read it brilliantly. And then Ferguson
Slotting through one of his 3 goals in the second quarter. And let's take a look at the scores at half-time. The Kangaroos, 13-7, 85, are in front of the Brisbane Lions, 8-3, 51 by 34 points. Carey, 5 goals to his credit, and serving the Kangaroos pretty well, Jason Dunstall.
Oh, it was one-way traffic in the second quarter, and the King has led from the front with his 5 goals, ably supported by Shannon Motlop, but gee, Shannon Grant, we saw plenty of him in the first half as well. Wayne Carey, he doubled back a couple of times and found space, and when he couldn't do that, he decided just to outmark them one-on-one. He did it quite a few times. This is a pretty spectacular mark, and he'll go better than that a little bit later on too. He's taken a couple of stunning grabs tonight, and he's kicked very truly. Shane Clayton, he's found a lot of space. He's been, I think, 15 possessions in the first half, kicked a couple of goals. Now this was the one where, now that's smart play. You see a mismatch, Carey on Ashcroft, kick it to Carey, he'll mark the ball and kick the goal.
Well, Lepich, his opponent, he actually has given Carey a bit of a chance, but he will back himself, the Lep, won't he?
He's tried, look, at least he stuck to his guns and he said, OK, if there's an opportunity to run forward, I will do that. And this one we see a good handball, just held up by Steve Lawrence. He hears the call, and Justin Lepich on the run from 45. He was pretty pleased with that, but he's well and truly been blown out of the water at this stage by Wayne Carey.
It seems like centre breaks is going to be so important, doesn't it? Because the Lions, if they can get the ball forward, they're pretty dangerous. They've got the 2-pronged forward attack there, and Daniel Bradshaw is showing a bit tonight.
Oh, he is. If they could get a bit more ball there, there'd be a chance to get back into the game. We saw Lynch and Bradshaw kick goals early. Daniel Bradshaw in particular, he's been pretty consistent in the first half. When the ball has come towards him, he's looked like getting it, but at this stage, just not getting enough of it.
Tell us about the centre breaks, mate, because Shannon Grant, well, his last clearance out of the centre with Spider Burton.
Spider Burton has been magnificent. He's had 15 hit-outs in the first half, and one of the blokes he's fed more often than not has been Shannon Grant. Now, that's just a clear win out of the middle, and if you get the ball quickly down to Wayne Carey, he's going to kick goals. And I mean, look, you're looking at centre breaks down at 15 to the Kangaroos, 8 to the Lions, almost double. The other vagaries there, the possessions, an extra 28 possessions to the Kangaroos, and they won more of the balls in dispute, so pretty good figures for the Roos.
All those stats courtesy of the Mitsubishi Motors Match Stats. Well, let's go to the break now with our Mitre 10 competition. What happens next with James Hurd?
Mitre 10 out of 10.
Goal umpires are an interesting part of our game. Well, Hawthorn's Daniel Hartford thinks so anyway. Can you recall what happens next?
The Bombers have gone up a notch. Luger's got it out. That was well done. The kick goes in towards full forward, and the mark has been taken. He'll play on and kick a goal. Just the block good. Finish it off, and he does.
Now here's a tip. The Hawks are not happy, and if you know what happened next, give us a call on 1902 555 650 and you could win these great prizes. Plus the big one, a trip to the UK for two, to the AFL Tour in October with $3,000 spending money and lots more. A $5,000 Mitre 10 voucher and a Club 10 autographed jumper. See you next week with a winner.
What's that? Thank you very much. It's a very exciting.
Seven Sport hope you're enjoying this match as part of the Coca-Cola AFL Premiership Season 2000.
And welcome back behind us, the Brisbane Runes. Mark Thompson, coach of Geelong, with us. Thanks for coming in, Bomber.
Yeah, no worries, Bruce.
Those last two goals were damaging, I feel, don't you?
Yeah, look, North have an ability to kick quick goals, and two going in just before half-time, very important.
We'll get on to your game shortly, but you were with Denis Pagan last year in a premiership year. You must know him pretty well. I mean, it's been a tough 7 days for him.
I think it's been a tough year for him, really, and last week didn't help, did it, with the Abraham incident and getting beaten by Essendon so easily. It definitely would have been one team that he would have liked to perform better against.
Did you see him in that time at Arden Street with his back firmly against the wall and how he responded?
No, I think last year we had a fairly easy year. It just seemed to work out for North Melbourne, and there wasn't any crises or anything like that, and it was just smooth sailing, really.
Well, they've done the job so far. You were pretty critical about the Colonial ground over last week in particular, and what we've seen so far in the first half, it doesn't look as if that outer wing's much better tonight.
No, our players just kept making mistakes in that part of the ground. They kept falling over, and they seem to be falling over again tonight. It just looks a little bit dangerous, and it's just not good for footy, really.
The other man that you know so well about is Kevin Sheedy, isn't it? I mean, you're the last premiership captain. Maybe that won't last too long, I'm not too sure.
Might get taken off me this year, mightn't it, Bruce?
But how's he done it? I mean, 19 years. We're seeing Denis after 7 years being investigated by everybody week in and week out. How's he done it?
Well, it wasn't as though Kevin's hasn't been investigated, has he? He's just survived. He's just a very flexible person. He's open, and he just keeps changing his staff and changing his players, and he's a very creative person.
He's played the mind games really well this year, hasn't he?
Oh, he's the greatest politician ever.
I mean, you've got your two boys with you tonight. They're not. There they are. Gee,
Daniel and Michael.
Look, how old are we, Brian?
They're Daniel's 6, the young one, and the one on the Michael's 8.
They'll be at Optus Oval on Sunday to watch number 2 play number 3, Carlton play Geelong.
Yeah, absolutely. They break for the Cats now, and it's just terrific to actually see them follow footy.
You're third on the table, and you've talked about earning some respect. You feel as if you haven't quite been given enough so far this year.
Well, I just think it's a culture with Geelong. I don't want people to write us up and overrate us, but I just felt that when we lost a couple of games, people were just really quick to jump on and say, oh, the 9 games losing streak's going to come again, and there goes Geelong again, the season's over. I just felt that was a bit unfair, and I'm just so happy that we won the last 2 games and we're on the positive streak again.
Good luck Sunday. You must be enjoying the year. King versus Allen, a big duel. You've lost Kilpatrick, haven't you, from the game?
Yeah, Kilpatrick's not going to play on the weekend.
And Sexton's out for Carlton, we've been told as well.
Yeah, that's what my little spy has said.
Well, I'm sure your little spy is right. Speaking of spies, Hutto, have you been able to spy down in the Lions room at half-time?
Well, it's no panic here, Bruce, but Lee Matthews has just taken the players aside and talked about a lack of discipline. I guess he's also laid it on the line too. Said that, well, they have to show him that they really are a team to be reckoned with this year. I think when they start the second half, they'll probably still go back to their original lineup, but if that doesn't make an impact, it could be quite a big reshuffle as far as positions are concerned.
Thanks for that, Hutto. Let's have a look what's coming up on Sunday. Rex and Dipper and the panel with David King from this game, and then Stuart Lowe, Woden and Crode, Shane and Trent, and then game day with John Longmire, Todd Viney and Tony Shaw, with features on some of the great players in the game, including Buddha, Gary Hocking from the Geelong Footy Club. So that's the situation at half-time. It's a 34-point margin. The Kangaroos in front of the Lions. And welcome back at half-time here with the Kangaroos 34 points in front. We'll go down to Dipper, who's been hanging around the Kangaroo room.
I certainly do. I do that every Friday night for you guys. And well, no panic down there either at the moment. Interesting, a lot of energy was performed by all the guys as they come off at half-time there. Led by Wayne Carey, just told his players just one half finished. Went in the rooms, went straight into the coach's room, spent about 90 seconds there when all the players came out, and not a word was said for about 10 minutes until they warmed up. So very cool side. And Hannah, 9 points to Kangaroos, doing all right at the moment?
Yeah, they're doing very well, I think, considering they've lost Archer. But look, they're playing good football, and yeah, look, I think I might have blown the 55.
You'll be right. Come on, George, make a game of it, eh?
We will, third quarter, definitely.
Definitely?
20 hours, yep. And
Right.
fourth quarter too.
He's pretty confident about that, Bruce.
Yeah.
Well, we're hoping he might be right in the Coca-Cola court red-handed competition. Motlop and Carey between them kicked 6 goals in that 10-goal second quarter for the Kangaroos.
They were unbelievable. Yeah, that's just a magic handball, and we commented about Motlop's acceleration, Dermot. He's deceptively quick, isn't he?
Yeah, my word. I just didn't realise he had that much toe. They threw young Cupido down there to try and counteract him late in the quarter, and the young fella, the first-year player, he started buffeting him and bumping him, and a couple of other blokes came over to say, cut it out, young fella. And I tell you what, the young boy stuck to the task there. He kept bumping into him, and as Dipper said, we saw him last year in the international rules, and he's pretty gifted at all sports, and I reckon boxing's included, so he fancies himself a bit. He won't back off anyone.
He's heading back forward here.
Alistair Lynch, just the one posse.
That hurts, because he did run out like he was in a bit of touch, but Mick Martin, as we know, he hugs the centre of the ground and he forces you out wide, and the Kangaroos getting numbers down there and just swarming him.
Lynch is lining up at centre-half forward, and you've got Bradshaw in the square with Cupido.
13-7 to 8-3, so the late burst by the Kangaroos have put a space in the lines. Let's see what the third quarter has for us. Voss, good hands, held himself up and then got it to Ackermanis. McCartney, not quite, and then Lawrence is forward, but Chandler's look away was okay. Grant has been outstanding. He's had heaps of posies, running at about 95% efficiency. Simpson's kicked at Carey. Brett Voss in the front spot. Now Carey's going to go for it. He sees it all vacant and kicks right to the square. Free kick to the Kangaroos. Yes, it is for Clayton, who kicked 2 goals in that blitz in the second quarter.
Did he cop one then, or...?
No.
Oh, the arm actually made contact with the head coming out. It was just a sloppy spoil from Huskus. Pretty tough kick. Will he kick it straight in the drop punt fashion, or will he go for the banana or run out onto the left foot?
He's had a big match against his old club.
He has. He's played very well. He's got 3 options here.
Banana.
He's creeping in as he runs in too.
Dipper always thinks of the food type. Good effort. Oh, bad luck, son. He's done pretty well there. Gave it every chance to come back, didn't he?
Well, he's done really well, hasn't he, in the year and a half he's been at the Kangaroos. Hasn't missed a game since going there. He's played them all.
Has he?
39 straight.
You would think that it's a lucky miss. I mean, the Lions need the first one here, otherwise this game could be all over very quickly.
21 shots to 11 as well. It's really blowing out, isn't it?
They've really bottled them up, haven't they? I mean, they don't fear going short with their first kick, the Lions. They're a little bit different logic to a lot of teams' kick-ins.
Gotta go
they can whip it around across the ground, and that's what they do here, and they just try and break it up. He'll carry it and try and draw a man here.
To Voss from Lapinol. Well done, Motlop. He's having a wonderful night. And then a clever kick to Bell.
We'll get it back here, Motlop.
To Clayton. They've got some good players here. The kick to centre-half forward. Show, yes, he's got it. Well, without being biased, you'd love him to play a good game, Craig Scholl. He deserves it. He's been a wonderful warrior for a long time for the Kangaroos, and he's really struggled this year, hasn't he?
He's always the one that, for one reason or another, seems to bear the brunt of the coach's anger when things aren't going well, and finds himself sitting on the bench more often than not. He was back to the VFL last week, kicked 7, I think, which earned him a reprieve. So hopefully he can have an impact in the second half for the Kangaroos.
About 48 metres out. Good-looking kick. He's got it. When he first went from defence to forward, that became his trademark, his ability to kick long goals. And, well, this is a blowout now. 14-8 to 8-3.
Suddenly turns into a 7-goal margin, doesn't it, from about 5 minutes left of footy in the first half to this opening 3 minutes in the third quarter. And that's just a fail to react to it here. Chris Johnson's saying, look, I'm a little bloke, and Sholey can take a grab overhead. That's a mismatch there at the moment. They're going to have to react to that. The runner's on his way out there now.
It's a free kick, and I think it might be to Shoal against Chris Scott. There was a little bit going on there, and the umpire's right there, Hayden Kennedy, and he's going to kick 2 goals in 30 seconds.
I don't know whether they fear the score going on the board or Lee Matthews more, those two boys at the moment.
Well, let's see. I didn't see it all. In fact, hardly any of it. Is there anything in it?
Oh, how soft is that?
I just want to walk out after that. That's... no.
And he's going over to tell him all about it too.
Well, don't pat him on the face.
Adam Huskus thinks that he actually missed. I mean, it did go pretty close to the right-hand point post. He went and had a chat to the goal umpire, but that, again, that's the second very, very soft free kick that has resulted in a goal for the Kangaroos tonight. And you can see Chris Scott having a chat to the emergency umpire there. He's not particularly pleased. That's as soft as it gets. That's as soft as it gets.
You know what he did? There was a time you actually had to make the umpire feel that he's actually been injured. He actually pointed to his mouth and said, "Did you see him touch me on the mouth then with his open hand?" That ain't footy. I mean, that's not our sport. They've got to do something about that way of umpiring it.
15-8-8-3. Bell gets it from Blakey to centre half forward. Well, Shoal, hasn't he had a minute? Carey's handball forward, then Huskus look away to White. Get your thinking cap on, Dermot. You too, Jason. What can they do? Is there anything? Voss, the margin's almost unmanageable anyway, isn't it?
Well, I reckon they put the acid on Vossi at half-time. He's just got to find the ball in the middle of the ground.
Ashcroft, he had Huskus really wide. It's an awkward-looking kick. Here's Voss, playing pretty wide to Power, who has looked one damaging player in the first half. Looked capable of doing something. Cupido, Pickett with him. About 80 metres from goal.
Lepich has drifted up. He's a good matchup. He's against Makepeace if you can get it.
It's there. He's got it. Well called, Dermot.
See, that was a good second grab because
it really was going away from him.
He was off
quickly.
balance, and it was a long way away from him, but that long left arm just dragged it back in. Have a look at the reflexes here. He pushes him off very late to get the hands free. It goes way left, and he just brings it in with the fingertips. That's a great effort.
Now, he stood on the mark here a few times, and he's seen them drift left to right in this difficult pocket, Jace. What do you reckon?
He's reasonably close to goal, though, so it's not going to have time to drift too far. He's just got to punch it. He's got to kick the ball, kick it through.
Just enough to make you think about it.
Kick through the ball. Just don't chip at it.
He's done it well. Yes. He's kicked 2 goals, Lepich. Well, not only did they need that one, they need the next 2 or 3 fairly quickly.
If you kick 2 on Wayne Carey and he's kicked 5, does that mean he's only kicked 3? Does it work like that?
It'd be nice if it did. I'm not sure if that's the way it happens.
Well, unless he's got another 4 or 5 up his sleeve, they're still going to struggle, the Lions.
You've got to take your hat off to just the arrogance game, don't you? I mean, most blokes to the forwards will chase their man down there. He just sits back and says, "You've got a long way to catch up."
It's a bit confusing, the line in the centre here.
5 in for the Roos at the moment.
So, free kick.
That's happened the last 2 times.
Well, this is noble. This is one way you can get the ball out of the centre for the Lions, because they've had real trouble all night. That's a terrible result for Sean Hart and a great result for Spider, but he's going to get a second crack, Hart. Back to Scott, and Scott kicks to Power. As I said, I think he's looked all right.
Yeah, that's a good call. He's actually been dangerous.
Was that not a
mark? Well, it was touch and go. Did well there, the big Spide, didn't he?
Oh, wasn't that magnificent?
Well, he played very well in Adelaide against the Crows, and tonight he has stepped up.
Yep.
He and Grant were 2 that you pointed out at the start of the game, Dermot, and they've done very well. The other couple have struggled, McKernan and Abraham.
Then we're getting our first look at Trent Noble, who's on contesting the rucks now.
Ashcroft back to Voss, got it from Power, and again Pickett stood his ground. Had a lot kicking into the man, and Pickett gets it from Clayton, and then a good switch to Carey. McCartney's there. Well done, Lepich. Terrific to Brett Voss. Needed good hands. Goes to ground. He's a bit savage from the back. Carey really could have sweated off because he was gone, I think, Brett Voss, both mentally and physically at that point.
He was lucky, Brett Voss, because he double-handled initially when he should have taken the ball cleanly, but he has got a second chance.
Gee, they need one now.
Looking for Daniel
Good
Bradshaw.
lead, good lead. Oh, he's
Pike
pulled
just
himself
pushed him
under it.
underneath. Leppich has kicked 2. He's in trouble. Little one, can Lynch get it? No, Mickey pushes him away very strongly. And Bellu's been terrific. And Harvey's been busy. King running now provides a shepherd. They'll want it deep, and he's kicked it along the line.
Well, Carey has made his way forward, and Leppich is still at centre-half back. If they can get it down there, he's on Ashcroft again.
Brett Voss to the pocket. Gee, how good's Motlop been since it came on the ground just before quarter time?
Fantastic, hasn't he? He's just given them that other mid-range forward who can mark, who can find a goal. Leppich still hasn't got down there. That's just a sign. Leppich is going to run forward, I reckon, 30 times.
Here's another
for the rest
behind
of
the
the
play
game.
free kick against Chandler.
Well, Chandler made his intentions clear when he came onto the ground. Still not a free kick, but they've paid it.
Kick to White. Clayton made a bit of a contest, but White at half-back centre wing.
He's got players inboard, misses them.
There's no percentage there, is there, either? There was so
Have a look at Noble, calling for the ball.
Dipper, we've got him now, and he's kicked it in his direction. Stood his ground all right. Oh, Lynch is having a bad one. Mickey would be enjoying
Good tackle,
this.
that's ball.
He's a strong kid. He held Mick up then, didn't he?
I reckon you're entitled to get a free kick for that tackle. I mean, Mickey's there. He's got a chance to get rid of it there. He takes him on.
Gee, that's a strong body to hold him up, isn't it?
Yep. Good sized thighs on him. He's a big kid.
Surf lifesaver of quite some repute was in the Grand Hackett camp. The Hackett brothers are great in the surf, and this young fellow only took up footy 2-3 years ago seriously, and he's making his debut tonight.
Well, if he's been a surf lifesaver and a swimmer, he's going to have very good aerobic capacity, isn't he? So he could be a very mobile ruckman. Could be a handy pickup.
He might be handy on the other side of the wing there. Well, last week he would have been all right. Dried it out with a bit of sand.
So, bit of a poor bounce. Backhander came from White. McKernan back to Clayton, to McKernan, to Burton, to Harvey. Been good, Harvey. Motlop. Now, Carey's gone to the goal square now.
One out again.
Over the back. Carey and Leppich. Carey and Leppich. Leppich belts away. Scholl read it well. Huskus on hands and knees. Scholl all over him. Champion to Voss. And then Voss out wide to Hart.
Lappin working for him up on the wing.
Lappin on, and he's got him. So Lappin between half-back and centre wing. Down the line. Good mark, Lawrence. He jumped up high and took it. And then Lynch, he just has to have a big half here. So only his second posse here. Kicked a goal in the first quarter. A good one at that. Kicks to Cupid. Oh, Pickett was terrific. Slipped him round, didn't he?
Yep. Just thought more about his opponent than the ball then. Felt back for him and just vacated the drop zone of where the ball was coming into.
Makepeace in the corridor now. Just a
look out.
Little one, but just a half for Scholl and McKernan. Leppich, still Leppich.
Well done.
Simpson held him up. Leppich forced a handball in a hurry. Harvey gone, holding the ball. Good tackle at the back by Champion, who's had a quiet one. He's got wide men here. He goes out wide to Johnson. Still wide to Lawrence. They've been forced, Dipper pointed this out earlier, that they've been forced to the lines a lot tonight.
He's got to go to the lead because Spider Burton's been pretty good tonight and he's just sitting in the corridor.
Up and under, there is the big Spider. Cupido makes a contest, comes to ground. Bradshaw's brought down, no free kick. Little handball there from Grant. Holding on.
An umpire will never miss David King getting infringed upon, will he?
He'll make sure they see.
I thought I was watching Swan Lake then.
He does it well.
That's a mark.
Well done, Luke.
They have really gritted their teeth here, the Lions, haven't they? I mean, they're well down, but they've made a real effort in the last 5 minutes to make a surge.
Yeah, when you get to a stage where you're 8 goals down, they got to 47 points down, I think, at one stage. What you have to say to yourself then is, OK, we have to try and win this quarter by 3 or 4 goals and get ourselves in a position where we can win the last quarter by 3 or 4 goals. You've got to break it down. You can't get it back all in one go. You've just got to chip away and just get yourself back into the game.
Lawrence from 45. Good kick. An important goal. And it just starts to read a bit better, doesn't it?
Well, all of a sudden it's back to inside 6 goals, and if they can, you know, there's still probably 15 minutes left in this quarter. If they can outscore them by another 1 or 2 goals, they're a chance.
You wouldn't say the door's ajar, but the draft stopper on the bottom's been taken away.
Well, you can see some light coming through the crack, Dermot.
They just need centre bounce clearances. Only 3 Kangaroos players there. Simpson comes in. He's come in when the umpire's in position. Technically, that is a free kick, and he's let him go with it. He almost blew the whistle on it.
Noble, Burton, then Lappin. So they kicked the last 2, the Lions. Clayton and Calthorpe. Calthorpe's marked it at half-back.
Oh, dangerous handball.
And Motlop almost gone. Pickett, they were clever in the end. To Pike, who goes long. They've got the numbers here. Voss will have to make a good contest. Simpson took a spectacular mark.
That was brilliant.
And then releases McCartney with a bounce and a second bounce. And then goes with a long low one to Carey. Can't get a good mark, Huskis.
Well done by Lepich too. He knew where Carey was. He saw his teammate in the peripheral vision, and he just put body between him and Huskis.
Champions the target, and that's a good kick.
It's a great kick. Chris Johnson in the middle of the ground, if you can get it to him very quickly.
Too slow to react.
Clayton's going to get there. Free kick to Clayton against Johnson. Play on call. Blakey comes away. Kicks to Carey at centre half forward. Almost. Front spot Ashcroft. Back to White. Sat and waited all right, and then bangs it out wide in his familiar kicking style to Champion, who kicks pretty well to Lawrence. Holds his ground. Makepeace in hard. Good contest. Boundary throw in.
They're starting to win a bit more of the ball, the Brisbane Lions.
Gee, Spider's been good, hasn't he? The big
fantastic.
He's ran hot tonight.
There's not a lot of possessions, but he's directed the ball with his taps very well.
Burton again to McCartney. McKernan can't get into it. Carey can, and so can Shannon Grant. 48 metres out, across the face, and a behind.
They're just starting to win a little bit more of it in the midfield. The one thing I'd say about Brisbane tonight, Alistair Lynch sitting on the bench cooling the heels, they haven't changed direction. They've tried to run it up the wing, and when they get the Kangaroos sitting behind play, just trying to bottle it up, that's forced them to chip it, and they haven't been able to get that flow on play.
The kick-outs haven't been great for the Lions. They've always had to go short and then chip it around or run it, and they just need to get some more penetrating kicks out of defence.
Chris Scott, well, he's picked out Spider, hasn't he? But well done, Noble. Then Spider's tackle was pretty good. Carey and Ashcroft. Ashcroft slaps it back, and then Shannon Grant.
Gee, they all slipped over.
And then Grant in short to Scholl or Blakey. Blakey made it just outside 50. He's got a couple of loose men, including Clayton, but he's going to just thump it to the goal square. McKernan the target, can't take the mark. Bell at the back. Does he keep it in? It's a goal to Scholl.
Oh, no.
Scholl's kicked his third.
He's done that very well, the boy.
Well, Peter Bell somehow managed to keep that in play. You'd love to get the side on view of the goal line to see how close it went. Darryl White giving the goal umpire a spray there, and I think getting a stern warning from umpire Hayden Kennedy.
What for arguing?
I think that was something that he just said there.
Oh, Hayden, come on.
Well, we might get a better look here. You can just see the ball comes to ground, and Peter Bell's one that dives and lunges.
I'll tell you what.
As I said, I would like to see the side-on version.
He's kicked 3 goals, Scholl, in this quarter.
He's done well, hasn't he?
Well, what a play by Bell. 16-9 to 10-3. That takes a bit of wind out of the sails, doesn't it?
Shades of Wayne Harms there. Was it over the line or not? I don't think it has the same ramifications.
Not sure if we'll see it quite so many times in the next 15 years.
Wouldn't think so.
Blakey goes to ground. Sean Hart may have to go back, but just kicks it along the line. Malloy and Martin. And Malloy taps it over.
See what he did then?
Line.
He just knocked the ball over, went for the boundary, but he realised, I'll just tap it on its journey. 1 metre gain is better than not.
McKernan just holding Noble up. Good attack by Johnson. Ackermanis, he was looking for Brent Voss, and then Martin did well. He just got his big frame over.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy from Jared Malloy there. You just got to back off your pace when you go in and someone's got their back to you, because your momentum will take them forward every time.
Martin to half forward. Fly came from McKernan. Voss to Ashcroft to Chris Scott to half forward. Now Lawrence front spot at the back, Makepeace. Powell's been good. He's on his wrong side. Half a chance for Bradshaw. Gee, Pike was good. He accelerated, didn't he?
He took too long to go, Bradshaw.
Yep. Pickett, bit outnumbered. Oh, well done, champion. He's got him.
That's holding the ball. He took him on. He took him on there.
And is he going to get 50? No.
I think the umpire was saying, Richard, just calm down a bit here. Yeah, he saw him there, saw him over the shoulder and took him on.
Just grabbed that left hand and he couldn't get the handball away. It was locked to his hip.
Yeah, tackle.
Kick to Bradshaw.
Great
Got him.
hit. Great hit from Richard Champion. That's a good piece of play. If Daniel Bradshaw can finish it off, it'll just give him that faint glimmer of hope again.
So we might just have a look at, did this go over the line? We might get a better view. This is Bell tapping it back. Let's have a look. Ooh.
No, that's still in. It's got it completely over.
Yep.
And even if just a lace is still over the line and the rest of it's to the outside, it's still in. It completely has to go over the line.
It's looked pretty dangerous, hasn't he, Bradshaw, tonight? He's only got the 2. Has to kick this to give the Lions any chance, you'd think. 45 out.
That's a good kick.
Good kick. He's at the post.
See that, Jason? He watches the target until about the last half second and then takes eyes down to the ball.
16, 9, 10, 4. I reckon they've got to get a couple back.
They've made the huddle here, Bruce. The Kangaroos, they break and they vacate the centre and pick out the smallest man in the ground.
And look at the penetration. It's almost in the heart of the centre square, isn't it? And then Bell wide. White, well done against Simpson. Gets a second crack. Knew that Lapham was there. Blakey all over him, still all over him. Lapham hasn't quite taken possession. Hart did well in the end because it was a hot handball and he had to bring it forward. Over the back was danger. We'll have a look. First terms and last terms haven't been good for the Kangaroos. They've only won 4, but they've got a pretty cushy lead, haven't they?
Yeah, 41 points. I mean, unless the Lions can get it down to probably underneath 30 points, you wouldn't think they're much hope.
Ackermanis, champion gets to the front. Well done, McCartney. Had his measure in the first quarter and certainly had it there.
Oh, look at the chase.
Cupido can't get King though, but he's forced him. Maybe Hustis probably should have taken the mark. Belts it away. Lang Scholl, who's kicked 3, goes back to Carey, to Harvey. They're about 70 metres from goal. Good kick inboard to Clayton, who's had a very, very good night.
You sometimes wonder how he finds so much space, Shane Clayton.
It's almost like people are saying, well, he just can't keep getting it, so we're not going to give him that respect.
Got in close to the man on the mark and then goes to fall forward. A lot of flyers. And
oh, Bell thought he'd stolen another one there. He thought he kicked it out of mid-air and he said so to the goal umpire.
It's almost like the opponents of Clayton say, he can't keep getting it, so we'll chance our arm now. And he just stays out by himself and he keeps winning it.
Voss the target. Grant against him. Good mark to Voss.
See, that's been a good matchup. I know Simpson's got Voss for the majority of the night, but they've really cancelled out him.
Chris Scott. McCartney's been very good on champion. Down to Ackermanis, to Ashcroft. Good running by Ashcroft, and the handball found his target. Ashcroft to Bradshaw. Oh, lovely mark. He has been their one shining light deep in attack, hasn't he?
That's not a bad matchup. I mean, the Lions would fancy Daniel Bradshaw as a traditional key forward, playing on Martin Pike, who tends more to play as a back flanker. And whilst he's not a small fellow, Pikey, against a key forward, he's still a flanker, isn't he? And he plays like one. So, you know, they will try and isolate Daniel Bradshaw and use him as much as they can. Again, it depends on the supply coming down, though.
If they want a bit of pep up, the bloke who's going to give it to the Lions in the middle will be Ackermanis.
So Bradshaw,
ugly.
Is it coming back? No, I think he's missed.
Gee, he got all bunched up on that.
He had a great start, Ackermanis. He's been very quiet the last the last quarter and a half.
It's a big miss, really. I mean, I know they're 7 goals down, but boy, he'd been kicking confidently until that, hadn't he?
Absolutely. Ackermanis only 13 possessions, but the last couple of times they've come forward, the Lions, Ackermanis has given them some run and they've missed that quick ball carry through the middle of the ground. He can do it for them.
King spots McCartney. It's well done. So 2 great kicks from King in the last couple of minutes.
You literally could not ask for better than what David King has delivered from the goal square the last 2 kick-ins.
So McCartney to Pike at half-back.
It's all bunched up ahead. Nobody's free. It's just going to have to kick to the big contest.
So Carey and Lepich. Carey building forward, boundary throw in.
One thing I've got to say about that, you see the way that Wayne went for that, and I've studied him for so many years now. He's actually just looking to be tiring a little bit, probably drawing at long straws here, but Lepich will probably tend to run off him more as the evening goes on.
McKernan just shoved Noble out of the way, and then Simpson kicked forward to Johnson. Kick into the centre.
Oh, heartbreaking. They've got to move the ball quickly, the Lions.
White to Hart and Champion. Champion will probably leave it. G. McCartney to come across, and it's a big play. He's had a very good match, McCartney. So the Lions have made a real mess of this, and Motlop's a chance here. He's won most of his 50-50s tonight. Huskers forces it out. Well, McCartney's having a night out, isn't he?
Just collected his ankles there. A bit stiff not to get a free kick, Sean Hart.
Malloy's warming up on the bench. I suggest that maybe Champion be off.
Noble, well done. Lappin couldn't get it through, and then Scholl did to Blakey at 48 metres. Coming back. No.
All right, well, Lepich has got the ball from the fullback kick in now. Will he go short? That's Malloy on the bench. Let's see what they do now. They've gone short just about on every occasion. He's saying, no, I don't want that one. Or is he saying, pull into the pocket as my safety option here, Justin Lepich? That's what's ahead of him. Most of them are favouring out to the right. He goes for that safety.
It just doesn't gain you anything, that short kick into the pocket.
Well, the Kangaroos just sit back off it and bottle it up.
I mean, at this stage of the game, the Lions have to attack. They've got to try and make something happen.
They're going to come back now, and Darryl White will be on there.
Oh.
Well, they're just trying to split it up. They've got to try and create and just break up the opposition. They've done it eventually, if you can keep your feet.
So back to Johnson after all of that.
Have they done that the hard way?
Back to Ashcroft. And they've got it to centre wing, to Champion. It's taken a long time and with some risk involved. Lynch had a quiet one, but he's a long way from home. It's his second possession in this quarter, third for the match. Gets it long. Now Bradshaw's going to be their target. Makepeace over the back with a fly. McRae, Bradshaw down to McRae. McRae brought down.
Whistle to the mouth from
Brett Voss. Well done, Harvey.
Gosling put the whistle to the mouth and then thought, not quite enough.
Bradshaw probably should have left it for McRae. McRae was on if he'd been able to take it first.
Yeah, the short hand pass was just one too many possessions in the amount of time they had.
Have a look at this. To the right-hand side of the screen, there is not one Kangaroo player. They are all out to the left. Couple break out there now and split it open for down the middle. That's the second time they've done that this quarter.
So you look at the difference between the kick-outs from the Kangaroos and the Lions.
So Grant then makes a blue. Got to get a goal, the Lions, to have any hope, you'd think. And that's a poor return. And Pickett got hold of it and got it to McKernan, and pushes down the line. Blakey running hard. Calthorpe's come off the bench, still with Blakey. He's got a chance, goes towards full forward. Can Lang get involved? Oh, McCartney, too strong. Free kick, does it? And 50, is it?
Yeah, free kick is paid.
Just gave Lepich the unsubtle push in the end.
Disciplined play by McCartney there. I mean, that would have been a bit of a crowning glory for him this evening. He's had a great game. And it would have been easy for him to go off tap here. Oh, yeah, he's
the
just
umpire
twisted him
pays the free kick there. Now, obviously, he's giving him the benefit of the doubt because there was plenty of crowd involvement. Oh. Justin Lepich is backed up and forced Craig Scholl into the goal post.
No, he hasn't. He's run him into the turnbuckle.
Scott to McRae to Ashcroft. He's got the legs, and Lynch just got rid of Martin, but they've rode to Bell's been outstanding. Harvey, they've both had a lot of it. Good pick out, fine Simpson. Well, a late goal here would absolutely destroy the Lions. Kick down the line, Grant, not quite. Huskers back, still with Huskers. Out wide, gets to Hart. Champion on here if he sees him. Well, they've only got about a minute here, a bit less, to do something. Ackermanis and Harvey. Harvey probably gives a free kick away. Going to come back.
Gee, they'd like to play on now with Brett Voss clear. Well, the game's probably gone, but just to keep any faint hopes alive, they need to kick a goal in the last minute.
So Lepich gets it from Ackermanis.
Pretty clogged up ahead of him.
He doesn't know what's going to unfold ahead of him. That is kicking into a cemetery there. Tombstones standing up everywhere. They're moving nowhere.
Voss One last chance. Can Bradshaw take it? Yes, it's a good grab.
See, that was a good
return now.
That was a good stretch late. I thought he was going to run underneath that ball.
Well, history repeats itself because he had a shot on the siren in the first quarter, a tougher shot than this, right on the boundary line left forward pocket.
If he kicks it, they're within 6 goals. It's a lot.
The wind will actually bring this back for him a little bit. Underneath the grandstand, coming straight through the goals, the wind comes straight under there. It's the only open end of the ground.
Missed an easy one with his last shot. He's very careful about it. He's very careful about it.
No,
and he's missed again.
No.
He's missed his last 3.
Well, he's had a chance to kick 5, and he's only got 2.
He's got the yips.
And the Lions are in trouble. It looks like the Kangaroos have got him. It's 16-11 to 10-7 at three-quarter time. McKern at the target, can't take the mark, Bell at the back. Does he keep it in? It's a goal to Scholes.
Oh, no.
Scholes kicked his 3rd.
He's done that very well, the boy.
Yes, Scholes kicked 3 goals in that quarter. 16-11 to 10-7, so they increased the margin, the Kangaroos, from 34 to 40 points. They've played very well. They probably had 2 of the softest free kicks for goals in history. You saw...
No, probably about it, Bruce.
Yep. Mop in the second quarter. What about this one for Craig Scholl?
This is a gift goal, a free kick, 15 metres out directly in front for that.
He just kicked a goal, by the way, and he got another one.
That's woeful.
Did you get any like that over the years?
Oh,
wouldn't you have liked something like that?
That's just been worse than that and never got anything for it.
That's just being pedantic.
Yeah.
How do they switch it to Dermot? They've played the one side of the ground so much, haven't they, the line?
They've basically played up and down the lines, you know, straight in a straight line from where they've got the ball to goals. Now, they're very good at going sideways, breaking up play and then running on. The Kangaroos haven't allowed them. You're 40 points down now, the Lions. You have to accept that we're going to go sideways and try and break it up. But when you go sideways, then a definite play-on stance. They could lose by 70 or they'll be in the hunt within 3 goals.
Scotty McIver's with Hutto. Anthony.
Yeah, well, Lee was pretty animated there, Scott. What did he have to say?
Mate, yeah, it's been not the best half of footy for us. We just need to get some momentum back. Started to get a little bit back there out of the centre, got the ball forward, and you know we stabilised things on the scoreboard. Now we've just got to try and get some momentum, get some scores on the board.
Did you feel we were going a bit too wide?
Yeah, definitely. Look, we're just you know, dropping in short, and we really just need to cut inside and get the ball deep.
Do you think you're a chance of winning it?
Oh, look, there's still a chance. We've had enough of the football to win the game. It's just we haven't been using it as well as we should be.
Thanks, Scott.
No worries, mate.
Thanks, Hutto, with Scott McIver. Those Bradshaw misses, like a couple of them, just 2 goals there would have just kept it a bit manageable, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if he kicks 2 of the 3, they're within 6 goals, and all of a sudden you say, well, they're only 5 goals away, and you're thinking, yeah, we are a show of running over the top of them, but a 40-point deficit's pretty tough. Although, look, he's looked good. At least he's leading well and marking the ball strongly. You would rather have a bloke getting the ball and missing than not getting it at all. I mean, he has led well. Look, he hit the post earlier, which was a bit stiff. We see that one there. That was a good-looking kick. But his next 2 after that were pretty horrendous. This one's from...
crumples up on this one.
Yeah, that's just a poor kick.
Yep.
It is coming back. It's a near miss, but a miss is a miss.
Then he missed the last on the siren. So he's had 6 shots for goal tonight and kicked 2.
Not one player from either side on the outer wing behind the umpire there in the top of screen. If it goes out there, it'll just be a straight-out foot race.
Well, the Lions need a huge start here, don't they? They've got to kick 2-3 goals in about the first 5 or 6 minutes and put some pressure on Voss. Could he be the man? Oh, well, robbed by Clayton. He's had a terrific game, but then comes back. Hart, power there with King front spot. Then gets rid of McRae pretty effectively. Back to Simpson. Floats it up hard and high. Scott decides to belt away. Makepeace hasn't had a lot of it, but he's been a competitor. Bell's got a shove. No free kick. Chris Scott centres it.
Well, I reckon that was in the back.
To McRae. Goes wide to Power. Running with him is King. Power did really well there because he knew that King was over the top and he stood his ground. And then Champion now running out of room. Would he use Power? He decides to now. He's a good finisher, Power. He hasn't got much time. He goes.
Pulled.
Just missed, I think.
That's a goal.
Is it a goal? He's got it.
Well,
that was good work by Champion. I mean, he found himself in an awkward position where he didn't really have the momentum to sidestep the opponent, so he said, he's about to tackle me. I'll put out the left arm and see if I can fend him off. And then the handball to Luke Power. Luke Power's been pretty good tonight. That was the free kick earlier.
18 possessions to him.
Just have a look at this.
Champion is, I mean, he's just accepted. You've got to take risks like that. Early in the game, you'd say, oh, that's stupid play. But now you have to take those risks.
Yep, and he made something out of nothing, and we do know that Power can finish. He's a proven goal kicker. He's kicked a couple.
Kicked 18 goals in 5 weeks coming in tonight, Power, so he's got a couple tonight. High for Bell, so the advantage to Burton is it. The kick to centre half forward. McKernan had the big stretch. Kick off the ground. Voss and Simpson. The ball keeps going. Simpson falls over. Voss doesn't take control and then puts a pretty effective tackle on. Hart. Well, you feel like the Lions are making their one move here, aren't they? They've got one crack. Pickett just picks it off and then has trouble holding his feet. He hasn't been on his own. It's a real patch out there, isn't it? It's a Noble can't hold his feet.
Too hot.
Harvey to McKernan.
It's a rare possession for McKernan. He's been pretty well held tonight.
Carey wants it wide. He's kicked it there. Leppich and Carey. Leppich belts away. Gets a second go. Carey. Scholl's kicked 3. Wobbles and hits the post. Look, without this ground right now, out there, other side's not good enough.
No.
That patch is not good enough for AFL footy.
Well, they're not playing football on it, are they? They're playing safety at the moment.
Leppich short.
Don't worry about the patchwork stuff up the middle. That's fine. If it looks a bit sparse or whatever, different colour, who cares? They can run on that. The other stuff is a bit difficult.
Ackermanis got to take a lot of chances here. Lynch front spot. Gee, McCartney playing confidently, was the third man on. His kick misses everybody. Scholl and Clayton back to Scholl. 70 metres out. Up and under. Can Lappin make a contest? Blakey belted forward. Harvey would have fancied himself there. Probably spent it before he got it. Play on called. Motlop's toe poke. Has a second crap. Little one in to Simpson. What did I say then? Back to Ackermanis. Gets back. I meant a second crack. It comes back into the boss. Don't put me off. We like it. Good on your dipper. The little kick in wide. Gets to Hart. Hart, oh, terrible handball. Brett Voss. Noble to White. Squeezes it around and Brett Voss has got it. Came in for Black.
Doing it the hard way at the moment.
And Bruce as well.
Yeah, we're all struggling, aren't we?
Now they've got a bit static here. Everything forward is just man on man.
So Huskers, Bradshaw's going to be the target. Belt away from Pike. Gee, Burton was terrific to King. Huskers is going to have to mark it. Controlled it pretty well. Now, can he keep his eye on and under the heat? McKernan to Simpson.
Well, that's a shank.
Now this will hurt if he can get running through the middle here.
McRae got it from Ackermanis. Neat, low, long kick to half forward. Malloy, Lang with him. Lang running hard. Malloy, well done. And then hooks it back. Linshaw, champion. Champion stood his ground. He was crunched, wasn't he? And then Mickey.
Real guts.
Belts to the line. It bounces.
I just thought Alistair Lynch might have been able to protect Richard Champion rather than flying for the ball there. Might have been a better option. It was a tough one. You just thought if Lynchy doesn't fly for it and perhaps just clears the path for him, might be a better chance of taking the mark.
Grant. Huge first half.
It's gone quiet, Shannon Grant, hasn't he?
Comes wide. Had to be accurate. Makepeace was good.
He's got some talent, this kid, and he's a pretty good kick as well. I reckon he'll become valuable for the Roos down the track. He can kick in from full-back.
Clayton straightens his ball. Oh, she's seen me coming. McRae, no. And then in the end, it does turn over to Huskers, who pushes wide to Chris Johnson. Ackermanis runs really hard and short. Johnson kicks to him now at centre wing. Grant on the mark to Ashcroft. Can they break a line here? They are taking chances. The kick to fall forward. Bradshaw pushed underneath. McRae's pace important, but it was a bit of a Hail Mary from out there, I think.
Yeah, I think if he had have just tried to pick that up, Malloy was coming across and would have applied a pretty big shepherd, so he might have been a chance, but at least they're trying to make something happen, I guess.
They're probably running through the middle of the ground. The best they have all night.
They're getting enough of it. They just can't get that final possession to set up the goal.
Can't get a crummer up forward now either.
So they're away here. Harvey's kick to Makepeace.
He's got a paddock.
Now this is the important kick. Brings it inboard to centre half forward. Lines with numbers, so disappointing result.
This bloke could turn it on for them. Run it through.
They did kick 8 goals in the last quarter last week, Brisbane. I know it was against a depleted West Coast. They needed all of that tonight. Malloy run down. Good tackle in the end by Pickett. Kangaroos.
Good hands.
Voss just squeezes to full forward. Lynch front spot, got it. Gee, the window's there, isn't it? I mean, yes. They're a long way back, but there's just a feeling, isn't there?
I tell you what, if they were within about 4 goals right now, this game would be totally alive, and I'd probably just about back the Lions in. I reckon they're going to kick more goals than the Kangaroos in this final quarter. It's just a matter of how far they have. Well, they started behind at the third quarter mark.
Look at Lynch and Power, 40 goals between them in the last 5 weeks. They've got 8 out of the pair of them in each of the games. So must kick at Lynch. He's got his second. Well, they've kicked the only 2 goals of the last quarter. Without being too hard on Bradshaw, that kick on the siren. And the one before it.
It was. You know that whole passage of play, the thing I like the most out of this, have a look at the anguish on Mick Martin's face when Alistair Lynch takes a mark. Now, he has flogged Alistair Lynch tonight. He's played a great game, Mick Martin, and just, it's a rare possession, and just to know that he's that keen on doing the job totally, not letting him have an easy possession, I reckon that's just a great characteristic.
Dermot, you mentioned Akamano. See, look, he's been in and out of the game tonight, but here's one guy who can, set the lines of light tonight with his pace and his ball skills.
Have a look to the left-hand side of the screen. The nearest Roo player is Kieran. He's 50, 60 metres from this scrimmage.
Foss was a bit stiff and ricocheted off when he was on. And then Simpson's little kick. And here is Carey, as Dermot said, holding his ground. Oh, Jim McRae, well done. Took him on from the front, held him up. This will be the closest margin for a little while. It'll be a while since they've been inside 5. The official attendance tonight, 26,326.
That's a gutsy effort, McRae.
Yep. I reckon he's a top attitude to his footy, Craig McRae.
Wide over the back. Oh, there's Ackermanis. As Dipper talked about. And again to McRae. Can he get onto his left foot? Probably doesn't need to. Bradshaw. Big fly. Malloy. Left foot. Close. He's got close. He's got a goal. They're closing. Well, this is now called a serious challenge. They are back in the game.
They will outscore the Kangaroos this last quarter. Look, if they can kick another couple, they will snuff them out, the Kangaroos, but they're going to come at you. Any team coached by Lee Matthews is given spirit.
That's a great goal by Jared Malloy. I mean, he's kicked that off one step, and he's almost hooked it too far. The good leap from Bradshaw. Look how quickly he gets the ball to boot.
Well, they'll be getting a bit anxious. Before that goal, it was the closest the Lions have been since the 30-minute mark of the second quarter, and they've got one since then, so they are putting some scoreboard pressure on.
This bloke is doing it.
Well, Makepeace was terrific. Yep. And then Grant to fall forward. Could Motlop do something here? He's been excellent all night.
Good shepherd, Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson was good. Eustace, in the end, was pretty lucky there wasn't a kangaroo behind him.
I tell you what, Bruce, that handball just made it to the line too. It almost bounced back and it went over by about 6 inches.
I'll tell you something else that has got the Lions back in the game. Trent Noble in the ruck. He's jumping and getting his hand to the ball.
Oh, if they can get it over Spider here, there is runners everywhere.
Oh, it's a lucky kick.
Well, it was the missed kick work. McRae gets it from Noble. Penetrating kick. Malloy charges hard. Well read by Champion. Up and under. Lynch. Power. The ball comes to ground. It was Bradshaw. And a boundary throw in.
Now, I know I'm harping on it, but Ackermanis was so far by himself on the other point of the square, and they just didn't see him. They could have used him up, and he'd have run to 50 in gold then. He is the real danger. They should just hard tag him straight away now, the Roos.
Lawrence just dropped it. It was a good tackle by King. And then Blakey, well done to force it out. McCartney, Champion, has had a couple of touches, been important. Ashcroft can't get around Burton, and then just times a little one mark taken by Bradshaw. Well, they're coming all over the top of the Kangaroos at the moment.
How quick were the hands of Richard Champion there? Yeah. He stole it at the original contest, and then when he finally got it again, to get that quick handball out, it was just brilliant. And then Ashcroft didn't panic. Spider corralled him well. He was going to take him on.
That's as good as you could do, Spider.
He thought, Ashcroft is thinking, if I get around Spider, I've got a shot for goal. But he didn't overcommit.
How nervous is he right now?
Oh. He's got the yips, Jace, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he missed one last quarter from the same spot. He's just got to kick through the ball. Don't stab at it. Oh, he stabbed at it.
Ooh, stabbed a goal, he's third. Well, this is a serious charge now. This is a real game. Well, a grandstand finish.
In the end, he finished, but once you start missing, as we see Wayne Carey heading back to try and stop the rot, once you start missing goals, the tendency is to start steering the ball, and you kick it softer and softer, and in the end, just have a look at Richard Champion in this little passage of play. Snatch, lightning handball, brilliant.
Carey's gone back and Lepage has gone with him forward.
Yep. He's just going to make sure that Wayne Carey just doesn't get to read the ball flight and get on the end of it. So Lepage has gone down there and he'll drag him out of the corridor, or at least take him to the goal square away from the first kick in.
So a 3-goal game. Quite remarkable. Simpson didn't go far enough. See, the Lions are suddenly getting very, very strong in the centre.
They are on it.
Advantage given. McRae kicked the centre half forward. King to get back. Lawrence to worry him. King forced the wrong way and then runs into Pipe. Lawrence all over him.
On the ball. Oh, that's a team holding the ball, umpire. His own man sat on him, and there was a directive sent out last year. Watch this.
Was
His
there
own man falls on him.
Is there an effort to get rid of it, Dermot?
20 metres out from the goal. Pick it over the back. Lynch running onto it in the pocket. Could he bring it back? Sweeps the handball. Now Champion's under the gun. No free kick. Lynch had to work hard. It's a poor play by Alistair there. Comes to McKernan. Good give to Clayton, to Carey at centre wing. Little stop and prop to Scholl. The paddock set up. Who's there to take advantage? Scholl over the top. Motlop, can he get involved? Nilly goes to ground. Scott, it was cut off by McKernan. Scott's got him. He threw it away. Free kick.
He's been disappointing tonight, Corey.
They've got a switch play here. Use Darryl White in the transfer play. He can go over the top to Voss.
Does now. Voss is away. They've had 18 more possessions in this quarter, the Lions. Voss with the bounce. Then a bit up and under. Bradshaw's been catching them well. Almost. Power wanted hard. Pickett wanted him. Ball up. Couple of Lions. I think Lawrence and Power just ran into one another then.
See, that was almost a screamer by Bradshaw.
And Voss running through the middle here on this kick to Bradshaw. Grant, Harvey and Bell, only 4 possessions between the 3 of them in this last quarter. They're falling apart in the middle, the Roos.
Power did really well to squeeze it out. Malloy made front spot. Still Malloy. Little give to Lawrence. Keeps his head down. Wants it free. Doesn't get it. Probably good umpiring. Squeezed out to centre wing. Well done, Lappin. To Champion, becoming reasonably important. The umpire gets in the road of Carey. And Carey runs over the top of him trying to get to the footy. And Lepage takes the mark.
Goal spink.
Well, Carey was desperate to get at the contest. And you'll see Lepage gives the first, and then Wayne runs over the top.
He's used him as a shield there, Justin Lepage. No, truly he has. You saw him sneak around him and then just flick in, and he used him as a shield. That is such incredible play.
If he kicks his third, look for a big pump of the fist here.
Kick 2. It's a big, high, long, strong kick. And boy, look at it. Right. Oh, it's a goal.
Oh, how dirty is Wayne Carey. He is absolutely furious. Now, I don't know if that's with the umpire getting in the way or if it's with a couple of the Kangaroos' big men who should have touched the ball on the goal line. Just have a look at this ball as it goes over the goal line. Now, it's dropping basically right on the line, but no one touches it.
It's a goal, all right, isn't it?
Oh, he's furious.
Was getting the end of what's been a tirade from Wayne Carey. Absolutely furious. Ball not touched going through, not getting a crack at the mark. 2-goal game. Quite remarkable.
Well, here they come again with another win out of the middle.
Scott to Hart to
Lepage
Lappin.
on the lead.
Just very wide to Lepage. He's kicked 3. What a turnaround in this game for him. Good kick 2 to the front of the square. And behind.
Dare you say it? A handy point. At the moment.
I can't believe they're within a couple of goals.
Oh, mate, they were always going to outscore them in the last quarter. They are a very fit team. They run hard through the middle.
5-1 to 2 points in the last term. First kick out for the Kangaroos in the last quarter.
Goldspink, I thought, had a bit of blood on the end of his nose before when he went down. Does an umpire come off with the blood rule? Have to, wouldn't he?
It's the same theory, isn't it? It's the same principle. That's what it's about. Champion, well done, Carey.
Well, when the pressure's on, kick it to your trump.
Yep.
Well, he sort of won it from earlier, and now he's going to have to save it from them by the look of him. Kick 5 in the first half. The kick to Lane. White did very well to belt away. They just need a goal here, the Kangaroos.
Nobody back.
Clayton. Ackermanis leaves it for Lepage. The 2 All-Australians, the 2 best and fairest last year at the club.
Got to try and switch it into the middle of the ground. They've got Ackermanis.
Oh, that's terrible, Lepage. Well, that is absolutely going to kill them as Harvey makes him pay. Too fancy by half.
Fatigue just came into it as well there.
Yeah, look, it's good to see Adam Hughes because he's going over and pumping Lepper up again. The last thing Lepper can do now is drop the head. He's got to say, OK, we made the mistake. I tried to switch it up. I went too far. And the bad luck there is you've kicked it to one bloke who's like greased lightning. Brent Harvey, sweet, got it. Was he looking back and laughing at Chris Scott as he ran into the goal there?
Yeah.
Well, It's made it tough now for the Lions. Harvey's goal.
That's a real shame, something like that.
They can still come back.
Bell belts it off the ground. Ackermanis falls over. Chandler's got the job on him. Short to McKernan. He's taken one.
Been pretty quiet tonight, Corey McKernan. He's had 7 kicks, 6 hand passes, 4 marks. He didn't do much in the ruck early. He hasn't kicked any goals, but I tell you what, if he kicks this, I think they can all breathe a little bit easier. It's going to take a mighty kick. He's going to kick from about 46, 47 metres on a very tight angle.
Let's go now. Coming across the face for a behind. Just how much momentum was taken from the Lions with the turnover? We'll find out in the next couple of minutes. You felt at the time was the only way that the Kangaroos were going to kick a goal, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Carey was pushing him back to centre half back. They had their trump just at the wrong end of the ground.
Gee, that's a fair kick.
Got wide and long. Lappin read it well to Hart, to Lappin. Just gets around. He's drawn 2 or 3 to him too in doing so. Kicks it wide. Champion fell over. He did the right thing. He stayed down in the end, but he just fell to ground. And then Martin back to Pickett. Oh, nearly falls over. And then kicks it to centre wing. Lappin getting back. White belts away. Blakey again. Ashcroft falls over. Back to Johnson. Still a chance to Lions. Johnson decides to handball to Lappin. They get it into the better going to Ashcroft. Good kick.
They will come. They will keep coming, the Lions. Forget the hiccup. That could hurt them in the final analysis.
In the end, they'll probably run out of time.
Yep.
But there's been signs here. If Bradshaw kicks straight in the 3rd quarter and Lepich doesn't make that mistake, we could have had an incredible turn-up.
Not with that one.
Yeah, that's
sliced it.
I thought it was the right bloke to have the kick. He's normally a great shot for goal, Luke Power. They have. Well, Scott McIver told Hutto at half 3/4 time, we reckon we've had enough of the ball.
Yeah. In the end, whilst it doesn't look too bad, 15 goals, 9, they've missed some crucial kicks and some crucial ones that should have been kicked.
Will he go for the safety to Wayne Carey out to the left-hand side of screen?
Yeah. So Carey in the back half. Kick to McKernan, White, Simpson at the back.
They had to bring it forward.
Now this is a big play. Motlop and Johnson.
Who's going to let go first?
Motlop held on to. Still Motlop. Well done Johnson. Then try to toe poke and then Huskus. Back to Ackermanis. Terrific stuff by the Lions. To Voss. To White. McKernan the chance. White. Voss at the rather McKernan at the back. Ashcroft out to McRae. To Ackermanis. Good in close. Does he keep it in? Yes, he does. Mickey runs hard and got it. Been terrific, hasn't he, Martin? Fantastic.
Very good. Hasn't had much of it, but he's certainly shut down Alistair Lynch tonight.
You might get it back here, Mick. Too early to really start trying to gobble up the clock, but I couldn't see Wayne Carey unless it's an absolute certainty going inboard. He'll just keep it down this flank.
He'll do one of 2 things. He'll kick short to a bloke that's loose, or he will kick long to a defensive position up the wing from there, Wayne Carey. He won't take any risks.
So King long. McKernan, Burton, big fly came from Simpson, but they're all up. And then McRae, has he got Lawrence? He has. So about 80, 90 metres from goal. Bradshaw goes now. Lawrence kicks in his direction. Pike's there. Lynch, big fly. Pickett belts away. Right spot for the Kangaroos. Bell, good tackle. Voss comes back to Clayton. And then Pickett with a clever kick in the end. Finding touch.
Just eating up the clock now, the Roos. Without actually going silly of just chipping around possession footy, they're just eating up the clock beautifully.
Ackermanis has 8 possessions, the most in the last quarter for an individual. Noble in the front. Hart went without it. Back to Power. Quick kick. Lepich measures it and kicks a 4th. There's still a chance.
Now, if Lepich has kicked 4, he's given one away, which makes it 3. Carey's kicked 5, so he's 2 to the deficit. He's got to kick 2 more to square things.
If he does, I'll win. If he does, I'll win.
True. Bossy started to find a little bit of it as well in the middle of the ground. They've just come good in the middle, and also Lappin. I mean, Lappin's been a good run-through player in this last quarter.
6-2 to 1-3 in the last quarter.
I just love watching Brisbane play. I mean, they will run all day for you, and even when they're dead, because they're such a fit team and running, they give you a chance.
Burton, well done to Blakey. McKernan almost held it. Has a second crack.
Oh, it's got to be dropping it, surely.
Oh, can't get rid of it. Motlop to Chandler.
Took his head off. Did he take his head off?
Well, he hasn't got one left now, so you make up your mind.
Gee, all of a sudden he's put the whistle away.
Gee, having the Lions tackle quickly and ferociously in the last quarter.
Best tackling quarter for them too.
Oh,
I reckon he got the ball, and I reckon he might have actually not made true contact.
It just looked like he was going to rip his head off.
Didn't it? Yeah.
One more goal snuffs them out, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
So a big play here. Wide, Burl. Chandler missed it. Gets back, Ashcroft. Simpson, marked by Chris Scott, plays on, took a chance, broke the line, uses Voss through the centre. They're only 2 goals behind. Voss, remember the goal against Collingwood, decides just to go to full forward. Bradshaw can't quite get into the contest. They punch it away. It's a behind. 16-10 to 17-14.
That wasn't the right option from Michael Voss then. We know he's struggling a little bit wind tank wise. He doesn't have the ability to kick it 60 on the run like that, so he's got to kick it to somebody's advantage, and Bradshaw's outnumbered 2 to 1.
See if this happens here, where they lead out from the middle and then he goes for the exposed leftover in the middle here. Now he's going to go probably for the safest option. Sees Simpson on the lead. Yeah, good spot up. That's a great result.
David King has kicked the ball beautifully out to him.
They've done it well all night, the Kangaroos. They've always managed to free up an opponent, a teammate, and kick long to him.
Now, if Mick wants to possess and go short, they've got to be well clear.
Spider's the man.
Gee, he's got Chris Scott on him.
Well, Chris Scott didn't even look for the footy.
Do you reckon he made contact? Do you reckon he actually got hold of him?
I think the umpires these days do look at the contest to see where the player's eyes are. He's just taking his left arm out. Took his left arm out.
So Burton, Carey and Lepich, front spot, Scott. Hart roving one at the back. He's got White in the heart, but he's went for the line and Chandler put it out. It's at the wrong end for the Lions.
Yep, they're just doing enough to run the clock down, the Kangaroos.
Noble coming off, Bo McDonald returning.
Lee Matthews getting heavily involved, as you'd expect he would. Stakes are huge on this game, really. A couple of goals in it. Johnson's going to have to get rid of it. Motlop in there, ball up. Now the clock becomes a factor, doesn't it?
I reckon at the end of the game, they'll sit back the Lions and they'll rue this one as the one that got away. They sat down in the second quarter and let in 10 goals. They've made some mistakes that cost them goals, and they're going to just get pipped.
Donald at the back, Carey to Burl. He dropped it. He tried to break a tackle, and Blakey belts it to the line.
He's done the spike with that. He's held it in the left hand and spiked it down. Have a look at that.
Oh, I would say he might vent some of that anger on the players after the game too.
6 and 8's a lot different to 7 and 7, and that's what they're looking at the moment.
Yes.
Oh, did he throw that?
Wow. Johnson to Hart. Must get a goal from this attack. Lynch probably gives a free kick away, not paid. Gets to David King, and pretty clever kick. He had Blakey, he just couldn't quite get enough on it though, off balance, and finds the line.
They've had chances again a couple of times, the Lions. As they've come forward, they just haven't selected the right option.
Well, they've just got to take a big risk and run forward from this. They either live or die on this boundary line throw in.
Lawrence. Well, Voss was terrific. It was probably meant for Hart. Then goes to centre half forward. Malloy's, Mickey Martin, not quite. Ackermanis squeezing it, rolling it. Goal for goal!
Oh my God. I don't believe it.
You picked him, Dipper. You reckon he'd be the man. What a clever kick. What a clever kick. What a sensational final quarter we've had. It's spine-tingling stuff right now, isn't it?
I can't believe that
there's time. There's time to win it.
How have they got back into this game? I can't believe this.
I didn't write it
incredible
off.
effort.
The Crows nearly did this to the Kangaroos in Adelaide. Didn't quite make it.
Look out.
Voss to half forward. Power front spot. Pickett at the back. Just overrunning at Grant. Malloy was wonderful. They gang tackle him.
Oh, no.
How did he get rid of it?
What hope did he have?
He got it when they were all over him already.
What hope did he have? One bloke had him in a headlock, the other had him around the waist.
Gee, I hope it doesn't sound like advice. We just want to see the fairy tale result here, but I think he was.
Yeah, the Lions have to man out now, boys, aren't they? Those Kangaroos is going to chip it around.
Everyone has to have a man here.
Gee, we're reading up the clock here. Shannon Grant taking his time. Gets it wide. Carey's the man. Lepich with him. Carey, well done. To Bell, straight to the boundary line.
Well done. The old pros come to the fore at this time, don't they? Just eat up a few yards, eat up a few seconds, and put it further away from the Lions' goals.
Centre wing. One kick in it. Burton at the back. Ashcroft. And again a ball up.
This is very valuable for the Roos. What you do, just keep laying on him and asking the umpire, something's blown time on now, just do anything. Next kick you get close to the man on the mark, stop and go back and ask the umpire if that was the correct spot. Eat up any amount of time you can.
Carey, interestingly, is pushed forward here with Lepich. And again a ball up. So players don't know, they can see 29 minutes, they've got no idea how long to go. Coaches would have a really good idea.
Yep, and if you take a mark, if you're a Kangaroos player, you would wait until the umpire told you to kick the ball.
They can win this. They still can win this.
Motlop to Blakey.
Here's their chance.
Chris Scott's got to take it, and he does.
He's got to take a risk.
One last roll of the dice.
You've got to run. Don't wait and look. You've got to run.
One last roll of the dice. Kicks it to half forward. Ball at the back. Running and bouncing. The little give is a good one. Ashcroft. He's gone. The handball to Lawrence. To Lappin. Lappin goes to ground. The handball to Power. Left for the Lions. What a game.
What a game.
That's an unbelievable finish. Now, there could almost have been 2 free kicks to the Brisbane Lions there. Pickett's chase on Ashcroft almost slid down and took him around the legs. And then we had a push in the back at another stage. This is unbelievable.
I've got to say, well, if you pay your $14.50 to come to the footy, you would pay triple that to come and watch this game tonight.
Gee, there's one supporter there who's very unhappy.
Gee, tell you what, Denis Pagan would have been furious if they let that go to the Kangaroos. The King put himself in the game when he had to, late as well.
Yep. Did they have some chances, the Lions, though, when you look at it over the course of the match? A 10-goal second quarter for the Kangaroos. A couple of old teammates together. What a last quarter. It was 7 goals, 3 to 1-3 in the last quarter. And to think that they were challenging Ashcroft so late without putting too much on it. The 1 goal the Kangaroos kicked in the last quarter. The turnover from Lepich to Scott to Harvey. Hutto, what a match.
Yeah, Adam Simpson with us, Bruce. Well, what a finish, Adam.
Yeah, it's getting to a bad habit now. Letting teams come back in the last quarter, but good to get away with the win, I suppose.
What did Denis talk about at three-quarter time? Because they did have a bit of momentum up. They just couldn't convert late in that third quarter.
Yeah, look, we just wanted to win the quarter, and to not do that's really disappointing. I mean, one of our major focuses is to have a 4-quarter game, and we didn't do that tonight. So,
what was the week like going in after what happened against Essendon?
Obviously, we were very down after the win, but we trained really hard on the track. It was a short break, 5 days, so it was important. We got off to a good start tonight.
Well, you've had some big names to play. Michael Voss is a great player, isn't he?
He's around the medalist, yeah. He's a good player.
Well, where to here? Because you've won the game now, and I guess things looking up for the season.
Yeah, we've got a long break now, so we've got 7 days break, so we'll just focus on the next game.
Well played, thank you.
Thanks for that, Hutto. Well, without putting too much on it, boy, Scholl's 2 goals from one play with a little tap on the end of the chin. Bell tapping the ball back when everyone thought it was over the line. The Motlop free kick at the other end. Boy, oh boy. How'd you go, Dipper, with the Coca-Cola caught red-handed?
Yeah, thanks very much, Bruce. Well, how you're that close to $55,000. But you won some grand final tickets. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And the Kangaroos got up for you at the end.
Yep, fantastic.
Now, George, you said in the last quarter they're going to come back. They nearly did it.
Almost did, but hey, there's always next week. Go to Cardinia Park and beat the Cats.
Well, thanks for joining us, mate. So we've got some Coca-Cola stuff to give away for you. Next week, Bruce, $60,000, mate. What a great game we've seen tonight.
No doubt about that, Dipper. We have been fortunate on Friday night footy. We've had some beauties, and that was another one. tonight. Gee, when you say Cardinia Park next week, the Lions got a lot of work to do at 6 and 8, haven't they? They really do. Don't go away, we'll be back with more. What a thrill it was. And then the Kangaroos by 4 points over the Lions. Hey, Jace, we've had some good games, haven't we? Still in. AJ?
Percentage at 79%. Anderson out to Miller. Megan Anderson takes that lead for the Swifts back up to 11. They had an 11-goal lead at the first quarter break, a 12-goal lead at half-time. It's at 11 at the moment, 37 plays 26. Jackson gets us underway. Miller. Jackson onto Anderson. Gardner gets a touch, but comes up with the contact. Kelly Adamson lines it up.
Well, good timing in the Swiss circle. They had options there. Adamson rolled off the front ball to take the post. Anderson drove the ball. So 2 options there for the Swift speeders.
Adamson and Anderson both having 24 attempts at goal as Durbridge, just can't get them to drop at the moment. Adamson onto Miller, floats the ball to Anderson. Poole tried to get in the way, but just the mobility and the speed of the Swift